Good morning, Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday panel. Sorry, we had to change the last minute. We have Sports and Fitness Rants next to me there. Underneath, we have Steam Engine, and we have Hoops God. So, how is everybody today? Morning coffee. Kick us off.
You guys know the deal, man. Once again, we are back for the Sunday Live. We got the panel here. We got the Zarda video footage holding us down. Once again, filling in for, this my man, the Guru, Dart. We got Speen. We got my man, Hoop God here. Shout out to everybody that's already here in the chat. You guys always continue to come through. Shout out to Renee43, Steven, Lion, Tamer, CJ. Thank you guys for coming in early. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
Hoops God, we can see him. How are you,
back.
man?
I'm back, man. It's always great, man, to dialogue with the guys, man. Just been trying to do some different things according to my diet. I've been on them green smoothies, and I can't lie, man. I'm feeling great. I'm not telling y'all to try it, but I'm just letting you know my experience. I feel absolutely marvelous. I'm ready to talk some sports, man. Let's go.
All right. Positive energy. Steam Engine, go ahead and depress us.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about racial relations in 1940s era Mississippi. So let's just go ahead and get started, please.
Oh, God, man. Come on.
I have a couple of clips from Mississippi Burning I'm going to play for today's show instead of basketball footage.
and then we're going to watch Roots and comments on Roots. So let's go. Let's get started.
We're going to try, or we might try. Different people have different things to
Bro
present
said
today.
flop of the morning. Yo, I like that. Flop of the morning. I'm going to have to use that.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey, shout out to Chad Warner. I'm going to have to take that one, bro. Flop of the morning.
Flop
Yeah,
of the
shout out to
morning
New
to y'all.
Mexico. Shout out to everybody that came through already, man. Like I said, man, we are truly humbled by all the support from all you guys, for real.
Renee, how do you do it? How do you always manage to be the first one in there?
For real. Renee's a legend. Pink Speech Road, what up?
The support is dope. I get emotional thinking about it. I'm not joking. The support is super dope.
Yeah, don't mess it up for us.
Right. I'm getting attacked by all three. Well, no, Hoops God, you're good so far. Thank you, sir.
Man.
Shout out to Australia.
Where is Scap Attack to respond to Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm assuming this is to defend Jokic. Let's.
Oh, I'm on fire right now. They've been coming after me in my latest videos. I've been getting attacked by a lot of Nikola Jokic fans. And like I said, just a lot of the fans of basketball overall, man. I'm on fire right now. I'm under fire, I guess, so to speak.
I don't want to do my first bit too early, but I'm having a hard time holding back. Come on, viewers. Come on in here. Let's see who else is chatting this morning. We got any early morning super chats? What's up, Armand? Remember when Dennis
man, got a lot of people in here, the same people, like I said, coming through, the true supporters, man. Thank you very much. Yo, Judah's son. What's up, guys? Thank you very much, man. Dangerous Captain Charisma 69.
Shout out to all my new subs too, because y'all let me know, and I appreciate it. I try to respond to each and every one of y'all. I think I am going to respond to each and every one of y'all, so it is a
yeah, shout out.
What up?
Yeah, shout out to my new subs as well, man. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, and that is Noble. How do you say it? Noble Dywin Sanders.
Yeah, but I'm gonna change the format up to precision decisions.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit easier to find. That rolls off the tongue a little better.
Word.
All right. Shit, I can't hold it back anymore. I'm going to go around the horn and ask you, Robin, I know you're chomping at the bit. Try to hold your Jokic hate in check a little bit just to answer. Just answer the question. You can shitting on Jokic. I shouldn't say hate. We're not going to call everything hate anymore, right? We're going to try and set an example. It's not all hate. Okay. Big deal or not a big deal that the Lakers almost beat Denver without Jokic, without Luka and without LeBron? Is it more about the fact that the Lakers are so stacked that they don't even need LeBron and Luka? Is it about Denver just isn't a good basketball team? And now that they've lost to the Wizards, that's changing my original question to seem more likely. Or is it just that the NBA is so inconsistent, we really can't take anything away from this? I always go with Robin first. Let's go with Hoops God first today.
Well, to be quite honest, that was shocking. I would have expected the Denver Nuggets just to come out there and handle business, but hey, I would say the game is sort of like I would relate it back to boxing. Styles make fights. So now when you shuffle these new players around and you play it so many times, you can to nullify said player. And if the role players, if they come out and get the job done, then you'll live with the results. But yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I was shocked to see the Nuggets struggle like that. Like I would have expected them to just go in there and smoke them and get them up out of there by the third quarter. So hey, hats off to the Lakers, man. They came to play even without their top guys. So they play
which
good.
of those three, if you have to choose one of those three I presented as a multiple choice?
Okay, give me the choices again.
Lakers are that good even without their faces. Denver just isn't that good. We just can't tell what's going to happen on any night in the NBA.
You just can't tell what's going to happen on any night in the NBA. The reason why I would go with that, because I don't believe if the Nuggets meet them again, that's going to be the outcome,
Which is today, by the way.
Right, with the fully healthy roster. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm going to have to make an instant reaction and come back and say, hey, I was wrong, so let me be accountable, unlike somebody else who always wants to point fingers and blame everybody. But no, I just think something like I think that's just something unexpectedly. Because I don't want to say the Nuggets aren't that good, because I believe they are, but I don't think the Lakers are going to do that again. And that's going to be my platform that I'm going to stand on. But if I'm wrong, I will come back and I will recant and I will apologize.
All right, Speem. One of those three options I present stand out to you more than the others?
Yeah, it's the inconsistency piece. As I'm looking at this box score, how many nights are you going to get 37 from Austin Reeves and 32 from Dalton Connect? I mean, not to mention, Austin 13 assists from Austin Reeves. I mean, how often is that going to happen without, LeBron or Luka on the floor, let alone with them? So I think it's inconsistency.
I would counter that point and say that when LeBron isn't playing, they actually have games like that a lot. So this is my original point. Is it about getting LeBron out of the way? Robin.
Well, here, real quick. I also think last night was kind of, or not last night, what was this, 2 nights ago? It's kind of the perfect storm for them too, because I think Denver is kind of over the whole fake rivalry with LA. So I don't even think that they put in the same, I don't know if effort's the right word, but it's almost like when they play the Lakers, it's like, all right, we already proved our point. If we lose to them in the regular season, it's like the only team that seems to care is them. The only people that seem to care are their fans when they beat Denver. Denver could care less, I feel like, in the regular season. I think that's a big piece of it too. Them not caring as much, and yes, the inconsistency in the league.
I don't know if that's Mike Malone's attitude, though. Just, hey, take a night off. But Robin, it's your turn.
Hey, yo, Wakes, man, you're making a critical mistake here. How are you not going to give us a D answer? But everyone knows when you went to school, you had what? You had 3 answers, and then you had a D choice that was called what? All of the above. So once
all
again,
the above, goof.
Me, all of the above is why you're getting what you're getting. So like you mentioned, the Lakers are not really that great, but they're better, or the other guys are allowed to flourish more when LeBron James is not there stifling them. Also, the Denver Nuggets are not that bad to lose or struggle with the Lakers without them. But like you mentioned, the league is inconsistent. That's why they'll struggle against a team. Because let's be real here, the Denver Nuggets coming in to play the Lakers without LeBron James and Luka Doncic, they're mentally not going to be up for that game. But that falls on Nikola Jokic as the leader of that team to have his team prepared going into a game like that where you're supposed to win that game hands down. You're supposed to go out there, coast to that victory, and then maybe rest in the fourth quarter. So for me, the answer is all of the above. The Nuggets are not that bad because for me, if the Nuggets and the Lakers played each other in a 7-game series, even with LeBron James and Luka Doncic there, to me, Nikola Jokic is still the best player on the court. So everything will really, like I said, fall on him, and I believe that he can lead them to a win over them.
All right. I like it. All of the above.
AOH. So real quick, something interesting. The Lakers only shot 16 free throws in that game.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that.
38.
Yeah, I was going to A, B, C, D, and there's actually an E option. I'm going to get conspiracy theorist. What if, because we don't see that sort of a free throw differential for the other team. We usually see that for the Lakers. Here's a crazier one, considering that Denver looked like shit. Almost, some people are saying here they didn't show up. The free throw differential is about the only thing that saved them. Any chance that the referees wanted Denver to win because it helps LeBron look better because his team isn't winning without him? Any chance? Getting too crazy? Am I too crazy?
No,
yes,
because
no.
I have a graphic to support that once we get to that point. ESPN showing the loss column with with or without LeBron. So no, I buy that completely.
But wait, that would be a narrative, like you always correct, a narrative that they're trying to create, because the reality is the facts is that the Lakers are actually one game above 500 without LeBron James over the last several seasons. So when we think about him missing these games and the Lakers losing some of these games, yeah, you might be able to say, hey, man, they can't win without LeBron James. Yeah, maybe they can't when you say that as a narrative, but when you look into the details, the Lakers are actually a 500 team. It's the same thing with the Denver Nuggets. Listen, Nikola Jokic is obviously the best player on that team. He's obviously been the best player over the last 5 or 6 years. Nikola Jokic's been outstanding, man. But when people say, oh, the Nuggets are crap or trash without Nikola Jokic, that's laughable, man. You're telling me that the team is not good without their best player? Of course not. But when we talk about all these kinds of things, the impact is there.
All right, what do you guys think will happen today? Actually, before we do that, Robin, let me continue what you said, because before they went into this stretch, the Lakers were 3-3 without LeBron. They were 3-3 without LeBron. Hey, isn't it convenient that the stretch that LeBron James sits out is a tough stretch, which I think is really gross for the leader of a team. And I don't think he's a leader, but they always call him the leader of the team. Even if you are feeling discomfort, LeBron James, the fact that whenever they're coming up on a tough schedule, he isn't there for them really says a lot to me. It's like, oh, hey, here comes some tough games. I'm going to leave you high and dry. Or, hey, here comes some back-to-backs. Because even Brian Windhorst, a big LeBron supporter, said, oh, LeBron probably wouldn't have played half of these anyway in order to rest. What kind of a team leader says, oh, here comes a tough schedule, I'm going to leave you guys. Fuck off. I mean, man.
Yep.
And
all the
guess what?
AOH.
Yeah, guess what? Not only do people not criticize LeBron James for that, but then they're going to help the LeBron James narrative because the Lakers are going to lose some of those games, and it's going to make their loss column without him look better than it did before.
And also, it helps LeBron James to protect his overall numbers when we talk about at the end of the season. If you're missing the most difficult stretches of an NBA season, which we all know is, these games in March, late in the season, right before teams are going into the playoffs. These are the hard games. This is when guys are all banged up and beat up. LeBron James sitting out these crucial games is going to help him keep his 25-point per game average, his 8 rebounds, his 8 assists. He can keep his numbers looking fluffy. That's also another strategic move by LeBron James. Shout out to Uncut Hoops.
Yeah, isn't it funny that when the Lakers finally, it felt like they played nobody all year, and they also didn't even leave LA most of the year. When they finally have a little bit of a tough schedule, ESPN is all over it. They didn't say once how easy the beginning of the season was. Never mentioned that once. They're like, hey, they're playing well now, but watch out when the schedule gets tough. That's not a crazy thing to say for a sports analyst. That's just observing reality. Didn't hear it once.
No, that's
so-
right, AOH.
So
What's
have
that?
you all noticed the pattern in March? Let's see, outside of 2018-19 when he activated playoff mode and missed the playoffs, even though he had two teammates giving you 18 points per game, which is significant help to make the playoffs, by the way. But have you all noticed a trend? If we go back, look at every other March since then. If we go to 21, 22, 23, 24, he takes a break in March.
Yeah.
That's a pattern. Now, I like to just analyze things, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, right? You know, I don't want to make a rush to judgment. But if you do something one time, it could be, hey, stuff just happens. You never know. You could have a flat tire. I mean, hey, anything could happen. You know, spark plug on a car. I don't know. 2 times, that's not a coincidence. 3 times, that's a confirmation. 4 times, I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? So
You know what really?
Hoops God, those were real specific examples. Hoops
Yeah.
God.
King Speech Row, thank you for that super chat because it reminded me, you know, when it comes to LeBron James, you can get lost in the abyss of stupid shit that he's done. I was just talking about how do you leave your team high and dry in that situation unless you really, really, really are hurt. And here he is at Bryce's game. Hey, I'm surprised he didn't put on a dunk show during halftime with it, despite his groin injury.
it's just basketball at the end of the day. It's just basketball.
I just think it's really bad taste. You can't show up for work. You can't show up for work, but you can show up for your kid's game. I understand it's nice that he supported his son, but you have a fucking job to do, and you're leaving your team high and dry.
Didn't they get on Jason Tatum when he went to one of his kids' birthday parties? They were all over him.
I did.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So,
but
let's see what the
ESPN,
reaction
they're
is
not
now.
gonna,
They
they're not
killed
gonna
him.
call him out. No, they
No,
can't.
they're
They can't call him
going to
out.
say, you know, he pulled it together. He went to the LeBron doctor of groins, the LeBron groin doctor, and you know, got it together for his kid's game to show passion, strive for greatness. You know,
Strive.
Yo,
Hey,
you know what's
Spain.
crazy? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hubot.
No, I was just gonna piggyback on Speam. I said he tells you when people tell you who they are, believe them. He said
Yep.
this. It's just basketball. What does that tell you?
For real. And you know, I was gonna say, like, if you think about an NBA season, and like we were saying earlier, like this is the part of the season where you're going through the grind. This is the grind of the NBA season right now. These last 20 games, when you come out of that All-Star break, what you kind of want to do is start to be playing your best basketball. So we've seen in the past where teams started off hot. They were one of the best teams for the first 20, 30, 40 games of the season. But coming down the stretch, they faltered, right? And maybe they finished with like a 500 record over the last 20 games or so. So they weren't really playing their best basketball coming into the playoffs. When you think about the Lakers, what LeBron James is doing with being out these games right now during this crucial stretch of the season, this is where you build your camaraderie. This is where you build your cohesion. This is where you build that chemistry that you need to go through a playoff run, to go on the road and beat some of these good teams, man, that they're going to have to go on the road and beat. So I don't know, like LeBron James is, you know, thinking like overall, you know, because what's going to happen if the Lakers struggle in a playoff run? They're going to start saying, oh, what's going on with the guys around LeBron James? They're going to start blaming the Luka Doncic's, the Rui Hachimuras, the other guys. They're going to start blaming JJ Redick. But we can all point to these kinds of points of the season where you could be building that team together and getting that cohesion going so that your team is prepared going into the playoffs.
Hey, Robin, real quick. You know what? What's scary about you saying that is I feel like that conversation's had every single season, and it happens right on cue, right on time, exactly how you just described. It's literally every season. That's how it unfolds. That's how I don't understand how it's so hard to argue.
And first things first, started making excuses about the Lakers aren't going to have had enough time with chemistry and stuff like that. Oh my God. Okay, look, it's the NBA 2025. Nobody plays. No team is developing chemistry if you're going to look at it like that. Everybody's sitting out every other game. So stop pretending like it's a special Lakers situation. And it's LeBron's fault anyway. Stop fucking faking
and
injuries.
anyone that's thinking that LeBron James is being a quote-unquote good father by going to his son's championship game, No one's knocking him, trying to be in or around his son and go and watch his son play. We're talking about having your priorities straight. Once again, those are the things that you're supposed to be showing your son, that you're going to live up to your contract. You're going to be that guy that's going to go out there and play the game. You're going to show that level of toughness, that level of competitiveness. That's what he should be showing his son. Not that, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and take a day off or take out, some parts of time. And then people will try to use his age as an excuse. It can't go both ways. You can't say that LeBron James is doing XYZ at age 40 in year 22 and then turn around and say, oh, well, LeBron James needs to do XYZ because he's in year 22 at age 40.
Thank you. Lead by example. And if they're going to talk about not developing chemistry because of this fake injury, wasn't the chance to develop chemistry important when LeBron sat out for his birthday?
Mm-hmm.
That was a chemistry opportunity.
Absolutely.
He has chemistry with Draymond Green. What more do you want?
Remember AOH that we were laughing because LeBron James was saying that Luka Doncic didn't know the defensive calls because he just got to the team. So how are you supposed to develop that on-court chemistry with Luka Doncic? You're not there. Hey, Luka, when I do 3 blows, that means I'm not going to get past half court next time.
Hey, Robin, did you give SGA some compliments or something on your channel? Because somebody's in here.
I see some craziness going on. I don't know who the hell thinks SGA is better than Kobe Bryant, but SGA ain't nowhere near Kobe Bryant. So I saw someone saying they want me to admit that SGA is better than Kobe Bryant. No one thinks that SGA is better than Kobe Bryant, man.
It was similar to your.
Doesn't even sound right. That doesn't even sound right being said.
Similar to your stance on Jokic, like, hey, Jokic is getting all these triple doubles and breaking these records, but he's doing it in a game that's become a joke. You have to apply that to SGA versus Kobe too, don't you?
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
Numbers.
When we talk about Kobe Bryant, when people talk about Kobe, the reason why people respect and love Kobe so much is because of the competition he went against, the competition, and how much of a competitor he was. Now, we're celebrating guys as if they're on Kobe's level or some of these other guys' levels when they were going through much tougher adversities.
So let's do a super chat. No More Kings 1 says, you need to see JB Bickerstaff's presser calling out the refs in that Pistons Thunder game. Refreshing, even though it's frustrating. I did watch that. And here's what's sad about it. I don't think it'll change anything. Just like when Darko did it last year, it didn't change anything. Darko got in trouble, and somehow the NBA blew it off. And this was pretty crazy. Like what Cade did was lighter than LeBron James's lightest uncalled text from this year. Like the hypocrisy is crazy. And I'm not going to say if Cade did or didn't deserve the tech and then the second tech, which conveniently for the refs means an automatic ejection. So all you have to really do is come up with a reason to give someone 2 techs and you've ejected them. But
or the sneaky double tech. The double tech is the one that they sneak in.
Yeah. So what's going to happen? So Bickerstaff called out the refs in the NBA. Anyone here on the panel think it's going to change anything?
No, he'll just get a fine. And that's it.
The coaches are laughable to me, man. Let's be real here, okay? Let's understand something, man. The problems that the NBA has right now is not that the quote-unquote star players are getting star treatment at the free throw line. We've talked about the LeBron James stuff because it's not just LeBron James getting calls. It's the entire team. His entire team is getting calls, plus 500 every season. That's what we complained about. But that's not the problem with the NBA. The coaches should be complaining about the lack of travels, the lack of carrying being called in the NBA. That's what they should be complaining about. These goofs are out here complaining about the wrong thing. They're complaining about foul calls. Dude, you're the coach of the Detroit Pistons. Who do you have on your team that deserves any of those foul calls of an SGA who's established himself as a superstar MVP caliber player over the last 3 seasons? Whether he's getting over too many calls or not is irrelevant, man. You are the Detroit Pistons. You guys have been in purgatory for the last several years. You guys have just come out here and done something. You got to go out there and earn it, man. Don't complain about that. You should be complaining about the travels and the carries they don't call.
Hoots God, do you have a different take on that?
Yeah, my fault.
No, I mean everything sports and fitness is saying is spot on. But I wanted to chime in Stop, like he said, stop the carrying, stop the moving screens, all the complaining about the back-to-backs. I mean, yeah, if you're a team that's just now getting back into playoff contention, like you kind of just gotta like, hey, play the background, all right? When you guys start to like be more consistent, then you probably can get afforded those calls. But don't just come out of nowhere and now it's like all of a sudden you want to be entitled and start begging and pleading. Like, no, we don't want to hear that.
Can I go on, or did you had something important to say, Speam?
I wanted to piggyback off what Robin was saying. There's no consistency in terms of players even knowing how to act or react to a call, because it's like that sibling thing. One sibling gets away with it, and then the younger thinks they can too, and then they end up getting cussed out or beat, right? Because there's no consistency. The other thing that's startling to me, because I started going over the NBA rule book, are the amount of just blatant missed calls that if I can sit here and locate them and argue them, why aren't you hearing more about coaches or teams going to the league office about, say, for example, LeBron storming on the court when he's in street clothes to talk to a ref, or him grabbing a ref where it says you're not supposed to make, hand or eye contact. You're not supposed to grab a ref, essentially. All these rules that are being broken that have cost them games, yet you never hear about them going to the league office or even during the game complaining, with the exception of maybe Steve Kerr. No, you don't see coaches openly objecting these missed calls, or players, and that's bothersome to me.
Hey guys, I almost never block people, but I just blocked a guy that just kept spamming the same thing over and over again. Amongst the other things, it makes it hard for me to find comments from people that are actually thinking instead of just copying and pasting. So don't do it. Super chat generator technician, you're correct. I did watch the Warriors. We should talk about some other people. But I watched the beginning of that game. I saw them go up and down the court. Both teams were like throwing the ball off the side of the backboard with these shots. And I just kept thinking, this is the most talented 3-point shooting era. I mean, it wasn't good. But here's what I wanted to say about the Warriors, since you bring up the Warriors. They were lined up to face the Lakers in the playoffs in the first round. I think that's changed now. But I got to tell you, I really think that's a terrible, terrible matchup for the Warriors. I just think that the Lakers abuse them and get away with it. And I think that you're going to play 4-on-6 because Draymond Green will throw the game for his buddy LeBron.
Definitely.
And, you might even say it's 9-on-4 with the referees. I don't like that matchup at all.
But I would agree with you, but you have Jimmy Butler now, and I'm not the biggest Jimmy Butler fan. I've done videos on Jimmy Butler. I'm not Jimmy Butler. But the thing that Jimmy Butler does for the Golden State Warriors, or what it seems that Jimmy Butler's been doing for the Golden State Warriors, is he's been giving some of him like almost like a shot in the arm, they call it, so to speak.
Yeah,
that's what he kind of gave them a little bit of life. Because the Golden State Warriors this season, they started off like 10-2 this year. A lot of people forget. They were one of the hot teams at the start of the season. Everybody was like, oh my God, the Golden State Warriors, they started out good. Then they kind of fell off, and they were kind of mired in mediocrity. They were a 500 team. You didn't know what was going on. They just seemed to kind of lose their way. Steph Curry was missing games. Draymond Green was doing Draymond Green, creating chaos. Andrew Wiggins is doing Andrew Wiggins things. They didn't have Klay Thompson there. And then you get Jimmy Butler. And almost, let's say, gave them a shot in the arm. And now it seems like they've been revitalized, so to speak. Steph Curry's got a little bit of juice coming off the All-Star break, and the Warriors seem to be playing Warrior-esque basketball. So I believe he would give them an attitude adjustment. Also, you think about the Lakers, they don't have Anthony Davis anymore. They don't really have the quote-unquote big men that would dominate the Warriors oftentimes. They got the Jackson Hayes and the Alex Lenz, but those guys are not going to get it done.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the Grizzlies going up against the Lakers, which is the next lineup? If they don't end up against the Warriors.
Okay, so I'll say this. I think the Grizzlies, they have the advantage in the front court, but have Ja Morant and Desmond Baines developed enough in the backcourt, like to make those crucial decisions? Because when you get to the playoffs, every possession counts. Every free throw counts. Like you have to be strategic, and that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know, like now, Ja, this is what, his 5th, 6th season. So I don't know. I mean, I think they have the talent to do it, but I think the Lakers, unfortunately, they still have the mental edge on their side because you add in Luka to the equation, who's been to the finals, and then you got LeBron over there, and then you like just how they can motivate those younger guys. So I don't know. I mean, I think the Grizzlies, they have the advantage in the front court, but can their backcourt execute when they need to get them over the hump? That's what I would have to just ultimately,
And
come down to.
can Ja has the attitude, like I don't think he's afraid of LeBron, but he's got to do something other than just launch himself in the air, because last year he did it, and it was an obvious charge. I even had to side with LeBron on that. Come up with just stop throwing yourself through the air and come up with something else. And Robin, back to you. One of the nicest things I ever said about Jimmy Butler is that he can take LeBron down one-on-one despite being much smaller. I saw in the 2020 finals that one-on-one LeBron couldn't do anything against Jimmy Butler. So I like that about Jimmy. Will it be enough?
Yeah,
someone asked about. I just am not sold on Kuminga. I don't like it when you're still talking this many seasons in about somebody's potential. Either show who you are or don't. Yeah.
Can you pin Uncut Hoops' comment? Because I like the one he brought up too about the Rockets.
Go ahead and read it while I look for it.
So Uncut Hoops, shout out to him. He said the worst matchup for LA in the first round would be Houston with Sagoon at center and Amen Thompson, and basically asking who's the greater defender. But yeah, I think Houston, like those guys, they would destroy the Lakers because they're young, they're fearless, and they're hungry. So they would literally run them out the gym.
Well,
I think that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna talk about the matchup. That's what's so interesting about basketball. Oftentimes, and sometimes we've seen in the past where teams try to jockey for position going down the stretch of an NBA season. You want to try to win a couple of these games and separate yourself. So, like you mentioned, you don't match up with a team that maybe doesn't match up well. So, what Uncle Hoops is mentioning when he brings the Houston Rockets and some of the players that they have without Anthony Davis now, like I said, that really takes away from the Lakers in a postseason. When you talk about the playoffs, the thing about the playoffs, the problem for a team like the Lakers, the reason why even though they get referee help, the reason why they haven't won or been to the finals except for the bubble is because in the playoffs, teams can game plan for you. Coaches can get more prepared for you. So it's up to the other coaches' game plans, the players to go out there and execute these things. And once again, sometimes it comes down to matchups. So Uncut's right on the money with that.
Well, this is why you guys know I brought up the Rockets starting a few weeks ago because I wanted to be excited about them being able to beat the Lakers, but then they were getting blown out by shitty teams. So I was back.
Yeah, they're young.
Yeah. It's like, is that gonna? I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
The other thing that nobody's talking about is the emotional maturity of a lot of these younger teams because they're going to get a lot of missed calls and calls against them. And, you've seen the Grizzlies kind of crumble, against the Lakers when, LeBron gets a phantom call or Reeves gets a phantom call. They don't react they react like a human being would that's getting screwed over. But unfortunately, that's just going to get them kicked out of the game. Denver, I think that's another reason Denver's so successful against the Lakers because they don't react to the BS. They're like, well, this is how it is now. And they move past it. These younger teams can't do that. They end up getting in fights, getting teed up, getting kicked out, or playing sloppily because they can't get it together.
So Speem, I would say this, right? The best way to prepare for that, you have to create those scenarios in practice. Like the coach has to just come out and tell guys like, hey, don't tell the players, but just tell, coaching staff, assistant coach, hey, just call the pettiest nitpicking, just call it. Because now you have to mentally prepare them, right? If you do this in practice 50 times, right? Just the slightest little touch, because we want to see how you're going to react, right? Now, when you get in real time, it's second nature. Now, is the coach going to do that? I don't know. But the best way to prepare for that is you have to rehearse these moments in practice. Like, hey, even if you make a reaction, tech. Because now you're training them, hey, this is going to happen in real time. So you have to keep your emotions in check. If we're going to beat this team, we got to beat them by 15. We can't beat them by 2. Because if we're up by 2, that's too easy for the refs to manipulate and call these BS calls.
You're right by 2. You might as well put it in the loss column.
I want to see
Exactly.
Udoka bait LeBron James into getting kicked out. Just keep whispering bitch to him as he goes.
I was thinking the same thing.
Hey,
But
you
no,
know what team is real interesting to me that that we didn't mention that could really do something in a postseason is the LA Clippers. To me, they're a question mark because when you have Kawhi Leonard there, if he's going to be there in the game, if he's going to be on the court for all the playoff games, available for all the playoff games for the Clippers this year, and the Clippers are going to have him available. Like I said, if someone like Norman Powell come back, he's been out for the last several games, and you still have James Harden there, no, I don't feel, or how I feel about James Harden. But to me, Kawhi Leonard is an X factor, and the LA Clippers could be a team that could surprise some people out there.
Hey, give respect to little game James Harden. All right, we got to respect that man. Little game James Harden.
Ouch.
I don't believe in James Harden. As long as he's there, I don't believe in him. But you never know if Kawhi Leonard is there.
Hey, I got that from Scat, by the way, so don't nobody quote me to Scat. Scat was the first one to say little game James Harden.
Hey, you guys. A lot of times, I want to talk about something that happened to me Friday. A lot of people always say, "Hey, you should watch basketball, college basketball, if you really want to watch real basketball again." And I acknowledge that. I'm like, I assumed it was pretty competitive. I was at Sports Bar, and George Mason versus George Washington. I don't know these schools, but the guy next to me wanted to watch it. They put that on, and I was blown away. I looked like Jackson Hayes when he's over cheering for LeBron James. I was like, and I was like, look at the defense. I'm like, holy shit. And people are like, do you not watch basketball? And I was like, no, I don't. I watch the NBA. You guys, I am not shitting you. It was night and day. I forgot what guys being tough and going at each other and the whistle not blowing and block after block, challenge after challenge at the rim, not play challenging. I wasn't, the game wasn't stopping every 2 seconds. Yeah. What?
Can I ask you a question of that, AOH?
What?
Do you think Jackson Hayes is legitimately attracted to LeBron James?
Oh, my God.
There he goes. There he goes.
It's a fair question. You see the faces he makes.
I think it's a job. I think he's just trying to keep his job.
I'm just saying, I didn't say I was opposed to that lifestyle. I was just asking the question. I'm sorry. You can
when
move
you when you sell your soul, you have to go all the way. You can't go halfway. So hey,
But AOH, you bring up a real valid point, and you bring up a problem, that the NBA has to address. That the reality, for the NBA is, like you said, how it looks to the casual viewers. Just someone on the outside looking in, not people who are legit basketball fans, people who are fans of the NBA, who are going to stand by the NBA product through thick and thin, who maybe know the players, who have a favorite player that are going to stick there no matter what. If you're trying to bring in a casual viewer, then you have to give them something to cling to, don't you? So like you said, if you can look at college basketball or some other kind of version of basketball on TV or wherever you go, and then you look at NBA basketball and they're trying to sell you and tell you that this is the highest level of basketball in the world, and then you say, just a casual person looking can say, this doesn't really seem as competitive, though. It doesn't really seem as, into it. Like, it doesn't seem as intense. If someone can say that, then that's insane. That's an indictment on the NBA. AOH, when you put out those videos of the All-Star games from back in the 80s, I mean, just think about that. That's something that a casual viewer could do. You could go back right now and go watch a grainy video of the All-Star game from the 80s. And what you'll see there is like, damn, these guys were actually diving on the floor. These guys were fouling out. These guys were out there doing all kinds of things. They were playing defense and giving effort. Just a casual viewer can see that just from watching some simple video like that.
Yeah, I started.
Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. Before I forget this, because I'm probably going to, just to piggyback off that, Robin, a big piece of this is because LeBron is the face of the league and he plays such an ugly style of basketball. The casual fan is not going to be interested in that. When Steph Curry was the face of the league, or they were like, he should have been the face of the league, you had everybody being interested in basketball. When the Warriors were, when they had their big season, everybody was into it because they were playing a beautiful style of basketball. Steph Curry was doing stuff nobody even thought of. That attracts casual viewers because it looks better. It's aesthetically, pleasing versus some big big dude just charging into the lane, pushing people over, and then yelling at the first person that's moving.
No, he doesn't even have to
was a
push
big
him
piece of it.
anymore. I mean,
Right,
good
exactly.
Lord. You should have seen Cat. I mean, Cat did the Olay 7 times in that Knicks game. But is it not, like, I started thinking, wow, it's really
Man.
the NBA players giving us the finger when you see at some point in their life they had to be like those college guys, you know? These college guys are working their asses off and showing the world, hey, I can play basketball. And then you get to the NBA, and what do? You stop fucking trying. You get all the money, and everybody at home, you're going like this. Hey, we know how to play basketball, but we're not going to because we don't have to, and you're still paying us.
Yep. Yo, it's so funny, man. You know, I remember I was talking to somebody one time, and I was telling a story, and I was playing in a 35 and up basketball rec league, right? And there's not many people there watching these games. You know, sometimes you have people's girlfriends and, you know, maybe somebody's wife or somebody or someone's kids may be watching them come and play in these rec leagues. But I remember I was in this rec game, right? And we're playing the game, whatever, and there's a ball bouncing towards the out of bounds. So I run, you know, I'm giving that effort because that's just the way that I play the game, whatever. And I dive into the chairs that's along the sideline there. And there were some people, you know, sitting there. And one of the ladies turns to me and she goes to me, "Is it really that serious?" And I looked at her dead in her eye and I said, "Yeah, it really is that serious. I'm out here competing. I'm out here doing my thing, man." You know what I'm saying? And they started laughing. But that's the truth, man. It don't matter what it is. It ain't about the money and none of the fame and none of that stuff, like I said, man. But when people ask you, is it that serious? Yes, it is that serious.
It is that serious, you goofs. He was doing his thing.
Not only
You punch her in the
but then
face.
you also have to factor in too, like, you know, who's at the top. Because when you had David Stern, well, there was a standard. Like you weren't gonna come out here and, you know, just go through the motions and all that. Like, nah, you know, he gonna sit you down and gonna have a talk. Like, hey, you don't want to be here, you know, you can go overseas, you know, hey, there's several other places. But see, Adam Silver, he wanted to come in with this progressive mindset and this liberal mindset, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna try to like cooperate with you guys. And I'm like, no, you're the commissioner for a reason. Now, that's not to say that they can't bring you ideas and suggestions and you kind of, you know, dialogue with them. But no, what you're doing is you're minimizing yourself down to being a peer. So they don't feel like they have any authority figure. And that's the problem because Adam Silver lets them get away with too much. See, David Stern would not allow this type of nonsense to happen. When David Stern was the commissioner, we could turn on. I mean, it could be the bottom feeders, but they're going to be getting after it out there, right? Granted, they don't have the talent to be competing with the contenders, but hey, they're not going to just be going through the motions in
But
January or February. They're going to actually come out and play. You know, that's the problem.
the thing about Stern, though, that people don't give him credit for is that when he was faced with these social issues, he hit them head on. When he wanted to change the dress code, everybody and their mother and brother was calling him racist. And his response was, "No, I'm not," and just left it at that. And everybody left him alone about it. Adam Silver bends and folds to every single thing that's thrown at him. And when you give that wiggle room from the beginning, it's like with kids, they're gonna test you for the rest of as long as you're there. But David Stern, even with the hardest stuff, like even with, "Oh, yo, I'm racist," all the anti-Semitism, everything, he was like, "Well, no, I'm not. All right, so can you get back to work now, please?" And like kind of that was it. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, David Stern wasn't perfect. No one's ever said David Stern was perfect. Oh, he's the most perfect commissioner. So, yeah, there were things that people complained about David Stern. Absolutely. Speed, I mean, you hit some great points when you talk about the dress code and things of that nature. See, the thing for the David Stern, which was, you know, things that he got complimented for and got criticized for, is that he treated the NBA like a legit business. Except the thing about David Stern was that everything that he did for the NBA was to improve upon the business, was to push that business forward. So when we talk about Adam Silver and we talk about the things that he has done or he hasn't done, he hasn't pushed the game forward. That's the bottom line. The NBA was going forward with David Stern there. So if you think about something like the dress code, that's pushing the game forward. Because let's be real here, the dress code goes to your professionalism, how you look, playing the part, the way these guys speak on the microphone, the way that you dress and going to the games, the way you dress leaving in the post game. All that goes to you being a professional. So a lot of these guys, the Allen Iversons, we know that they're showing themselves and they're iconic, Allen Iverson in the way. But once again, there's also a certain level of professionalism that David Stern was trying to do, because once again, he's trying to think about pushing the game forward as a business.
Yeah,
How
agreed.
many of you guys prepared a little something special today?
But I just touched on some of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
You still have that clip I sent you, right? Because I could ramble on for weeks about that.
I have the links. I downloaded the videos. I'll put it up. Here we have a super chat. Count Kilroy graph. Thanks to AOH, I always picture Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder yelling survive. Yelling survive. Yeah, what video?
That movie.
Did you guys see that video where I used those clips? It was where LeBron hurt somebody and then saw that player was getting the attention and then just threw himself to the ground and started rolling around. Oh no, you're not going to take the spotlight from me. Let me look for a couple of other.
Here, while you're doing that, let me just to give an idea here. Let me share my screen real quick because there's no audio, but there is a picture. Hold on,
you can. You can.
There's no pouring up here. Hold on. Should be good. All right, hold on. Is this it? Okay. Tell me if you can see this. You see my screen?
Here we go. All right.
Okay, cool. So that was on ESPN social media. This is embarrassing. This is when Steph Curry broke that 4,000 or what the 3-point record. Do you see what I'm talking about? How they have to bring LeBron into every single thing Curry does. But when it's the reverse, like when LeBron hit that 50K mark, how many times did you see Steph Curry's close to this 4,003 record?
Yeah.
They always bring the two together. It is sickening.
Let's go on to what I have presented for today, everybody. I'm going to play a little video for you. It's about 5 minutes long. And I just happened to catch a little bit of First Things First, which I never, ever watch. And this is why. I can't keep up with the lies that Nick Wright and the rest of, I've nicknamed them Tri Kappa Kappa Gamma.
Not the infamous Nick Wrong.
Kappa Gamma here told a couple of subtle lies that the majority of the population probably didn't even notice. This was following the Lakers losing to the Celtics, and I want you to pay particular attention to what is said about the Lakers' size.
And we were talking about the Lakers not having enough size potentially when they're fully healthy. That game, they played 43 of the 48 minutes where the tallest player on the court was LeBron James for the Lakers. There has never been a team that is as reliant on a Jackson Hayes or a Rui Hachimura because they are just so small. Right. They're small with those guys. Without those guys, LeBron and Luka were playing real minutes at center. And I do wonder if some of that contributed to LeBron kind of overexerting himself and straining his groin.
Let the capping begin. These three are like Tri Kappa Kappa Gamma. And Nick Wright there not only deflected from the fact that LeBron was faking the injury, that LeBron, if he did get injured, probably did it with his incredible flop against Jason Tatum, but he not only capped for him, he also made it sound like LeBron was a hero. Look what he had to do. He had to play the center position. And you'll notice I talked about size a lot. So let me drop an inconvenient reality check on fanboys. First, Al Horford played center for the Celtics for 37 minutes. Al Horford is the same height as LeBron James and 10 pounds lighter. Do not act like LeBron James is doing some heroics playing the center position part-time when he's still bigger than the other team's center. Al Horford is 38 years old, by the way. And fanboys, you were calling LeBron James 40 when LeBron James was 36. The other guy who played center for the Celtics was Luke Cornett, 7'1". He played 10.5 minutes. And while Tri Kappa Kappa Gamma all complained about how small the Lakers were, let me destroy that real quick. Not only are the Lakers a bigger team than the Celtics, JJ Redick chose not to play some of his biggest players. The Celtics were missing Porzingis, by the way, their tallest player, who was out with an actual injury. Jackson Hayes, out for the Lakers. Apparently he injured his jaw trying to breathe. But the Lakers also had a 7-footer in Alex Len to choose from. They also had a 7-footer in Christian Coloco to choose from. Coach of the Year chose not to use those other 7-footers on his roster. Maybe he had a strategy, maybe he didn't, but the bottom line is that Nick Wright is acting like the Lakers are handicapped because they don't have any size. Let me continue to destroy that. The Lakers also have Trey Jemison III, a 6'11 player, 270 pounds. He only played 5.5 minutes. Whose fault is that? Another player, 6'9", 245, that JJ chose not to play, Markieff Morris. By the way, I saw all of these players suit up against the Nuggets the other night, so you know they can play. And regardless of how you feel about them, if we go back and look at the Celtics roster, once you get past Al Horford and Luke Cornett, the next biggest guy on the team is Jason Tatum, standing at 6'8". Let me put this in perspective. That makes him equal height as Jared Vanderbilt, who has a 7'1" wingspan. That makes LeBron James as tall as Al Horford and taller than the Celtics' third tallest player. Boo, hoo, hoo. Where have I heard the lie about the Lakers' size before? Oh yeah, last year when I had to debunk it again. LeBron James by himself is almost bigger than the Celtics roster, and we have to hear pity stories from Nick Wright about LeBron having to battle against a bigger team. Let me round this out by also pointing out the players that didn't play. Rui Hachimura, 6'8", 230. Maxi Kleber, 6'10", 240. The Lakers have a big roster. In fact, it dwarfs Celtics. Look at the two rosters side by side, just showing people that are 6'8" or taller, playing or not playing. It's not even close. And yet we just heard a pity story from Nick Wright about how the Lakers had to battle without any size, play small ball. Is this a big deal? I don't know. Every lie told is another lie stacking upon the other lies that people are listening to, and unless they do their research or are paying attention, it's a lie that they're going to believe.
Fantastic.
Wait. What was that sound? Someone tell me what that sound was, please.
What are you talking
What's
about?
that?
Nobody heard that grunt?
Oh, I was getting my Shannon Sharp on with somebody. Michelle.
So one thing I want to say, Al Horford is such an unsung hero. He's been significant most of his career, and he's almost never talked about. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Fame player or anything like that, but he does not get the credit he deserves. And I think you hit the nail on the head right at the end. Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Nobody's going to do research. You just said it. They're going to hear there was a height disparity, and they're going to leave it at that. They're not going to do due diligence like you just did. It's no different than saying, you know, he can play all positions 1 through 5. Nobody's going to go back and actually watch to see how he operated against, you know, power forwards and centers. They're just going to take it at face value and say, you know, GOAT, or you're a hater if you disagree.
You know, and similarly, at the end of the year, when they finally don't give JJ Redick Coach of the Year because he shouldn't get it, it's still going to have been put out there, and people are going to say, "Oh, well, JJ was in the talks for Coach of the Year." Yeah, because some dipshits said it when they shouldn't have said it.
Yep.
But yet he's going to have those props. Anything else stand out from that? Did you guys know how big the Lakers were?
No, but like you said, I mean,
No,
immediately thought of Nick Wright once again making another excuse for LeBron James. Like you said, it's a built-in excuse. No matter what happens, they got some excuse out there. You're talking about the height of the players now in basketball. We're complaining about the height disadvantage that they may have had against the Celtics. And like you said, in reality, it wasn't even true. But even if it was, who cares? Like you said, they won't even mention LeBron James possibly hurting himself doing that high-level flopping that he did. I mean, my goodness, man, you're hyperextending your back, trying to draw contact. When we see in the replay, you were barely scratched. And I love how you highlighted LeBron James always feeling at his beard as if a beard can bleed. There's no blood coming out of your beard. What are you feeling for? It's almost like, I don't know if you guys remember a couple months back in the season when LeBron James went to the sideline and was looking at his shoulder, telling the trainer to do something, and he kept looking at his arm. There was nothing there. And he kept looking at his arm as if his arm was bleeding, and he got hit by like a samurai sword or something. There was nothing there, man.
I know,
Insane.
man. Uncut Hoops said, "Oh, last year the excuse was the altitude in Denver."
Altitude.
They also said that Denver was bigger, and that was when I did a rebuttal, and the Lakers were bigger than Denver. And ESPN was talking about how the Lakers didn't have the size to go up against Denver. I mean, it's not only
what's
not
funny about
true,
that,
the
wait,
opposite. I'm just saying, not only is what ESPN says not true, the exact opposite ends up being true. All right, go ahead.
I remember last season, Brian Windhorst talking about LeBron James' improved three-point shooting. Because if you guys remember last season, he was shooting like 41% or something from the three-point line. So I remember Brian Windhorst talking about, hey, man, LeBron James been working on that three-point shot. LeBron James working on his overall game. He's developed that three-point shot now. He can shoot over 40%, blah, 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 blah. But what I remember the most is in the playoffs against the Denver Nuggets, when the score was tied, LeBron James was wide open at the top of the key for three. So where was that 41, that 43% three-point percentage at then? In the moment when it mattered most, LeBron James bricked it up. You guys remember, he bricked up that shot. And then what happened the very next play? Jamal Murray came down and he made the game-winning shot. And that's how the Lakers lost the game last year to the Denver Nuggets. So in the moment when LeBron James all season long was getting hyped up for his new improved three-point shooting, all of his fans were out there celebrating his three-point shooting. When it mattered most, he was wide open. He couldn't make that shot.
I don't remember what season it was, Robin, but I think the whole 3-point craze started when he hit that jumper. He hit that deep jumper against Kristaps Porzingis. I think it was in New York, and that's when they started calling it the FU, like the FU3. I got kids around.
The FU, yeah.
Right, the FU3. It was just like this terrible looking jumper that just lacks any kind of motor skills or mechanics, but they made it with the signature move. That's when the 3 craze kind of started. And now he's seen as like this sniper. But to AOH's point, he always brings it up. He's wide open out there, just on a desert by himself. So how impressive is it?
So, Speam, do you want to do your bit?
I'm gonna save it. I'm just gonna let me think. My whole thing is just the social media component of all this. I'm getting a little bit frustrated with like how to highlight putting the most insane stuff up on their page. Give me a sec. I'm gonna pull it up. AOH didn't give me much of a prompt, so that's more on him than me.
No,
You want me to go next?
No. Oh, I have a perfect example. The other night they said that Dalton bodied it. He said they got to use one of them scales that they use at the zoo.
He said that man 1,500.
1,500 pounds. That's rough. No, there was a social media post saying Dalton Connect bodied Russell Westbrook going to the paint. And I watched the clip. It's literally just Westbrook going for a steal. And they said, Dalton Connect bodied him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is where we are with things now. Now you're just lying. And they use bro in every single post. I know you called that out the other day, AOH. They literally use bro twice in the same post. It says something like bro got a rebound. And then right under that, bro got a putback. And I like, who works here? I said this in my last video. Reach out to Bleacher Report, since they own House of Highlights, and get a hold of their social media company, because it's the most childish stuff. Like, I would consider it unprofessional if I was in charge of this department. And it's so Lakers leaning with everything.
Well, I was going to put up the videos that I downloaded that you wanted to talk about those.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. No, that's part of it too.
Well,
Go for it.
Tell everyone why we're going to watch these.
So the first is so the game was in 2023, Memphis, LA, Game 6, Western Conference Finals. There is a play where Ja dunks on LeBron, or what anybody else would consider a dunk if the rules were reversed. And not only is it near difficult to get footage of this, even when I found footage, there's no sound, there's no context, there's no anything. And the reason I bring it up is because when Ja dunked, quote unquote, on Victor Wembanyama after the whistle, they ran that story on every single platform available. I saw it on USA Today, CNN. I saw it everywhere. So when you reverse the roles, it's just, you see what you see.
Okay, so here's the first one.
This is the one with sound, I think.
No sound.
No sound? Okay. Watch this. That's so first of all, what's funny, he's complaining before the play's even over. I didn't
Correct. He was.
Right. So before the play's even over, he's throwing his hands up. That's A. B, that's an impressive dunk by today's standards, especially when you see on social media, Ja Morant, all of his posts are him almost dunking anyways. One of this posts, that charge that you mentioned, which when he just jumped up, like the Rocketeer into LeBron, like that was a highlight. It's still a highlight on a lot of people's top 10 almost dunks list. So it's weird to me that we never saw this ever.
I got in trouble last time. I don't want to let these things play too long, but
Sure.
Here's one more angle of it.
So not only did he dislodge with a little bit of a flop from LeBron, because let's be serious, Ja Morant can't push LeBron.
I don't understand what LeBron's complaining about.
Right. I've never seen this clip before.
This is why I was so mad. Speem and I both tried to find the audio for this because I'm trying to figure out what LeBron could possibly be complaining about here. And you're right. He's already complaining.
Look, his hands are up before the play's over.
Well, it's kind of like a cop-out. Hey, you're not going to posterize me because I'm going to look like I already quit on the play.
Exactly.
That's today's players. When they start losing, I think I hear my phone ringing.
Do you remember when he dunked he supposedly dunked on Paul George against the Clippers? Paul George got out of the way. That idiot said that was dunk of the century or something.
Yeah.
Like that's where what? But that you've never seen that before.
Okay, this one has sound.
Okay.
Their second chance points have hurt the Spurs tonight. And Morant!
Look at that.
Well, that one didn't count.
Now, I gotta pause it just because I'll get flagged. But what's about to happen is you're gonna hear the announcers keep praising him, even though that was way after the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd done that to LeBron that late after the whistle, LeBron would be having everybody's heads on a plate. Everyone would be fired.
I was going to say, he'd have the people in the arena, their jobs, they'd be out.
Wemby stood there and took it, even though the play was dead, and then didn't really complain afterward. And then the announcers kept talking about, wow, that's not going to count, but my God, that was incredible. I'm like, well, the play was fucking over. But I thought the reason
AOH where he got out of the way, it was this season. He got out of the way and LeBron stared at him as he went back up the court, but the dude literally got out of the way and they said it was a poster.
Thankfully, but it'll still be on every highlight reel. Oh, he just moves the ball around in the air.
What's the difference? Wow.
Anyone have a problem with the offensive player doing that?
What, playing defense or just what, jumping straight up?
No, the offensive player.
Offensive player. Well, I mean,
look at
it's an offensive foul.
Jaw's left arm is fully extended into the defender who's trying to go straight up.
It's an offensive foul, and I think Victor Wembanyama knew the play was over too.
All right, let's play the rest of it.
Here.
Yeah, nah. See, John Moran never pushed him off with that arm. To me, it looks like once he comes in contact with Wembanyama, his arm is pushed in. He never extends that arm all the way out as they collide. When he's coming up, the arm is out there. I think that's just a natural way of your body going up. But to me, it doesn't look like he used the arm to extend off Wembanyama.
That's because it's rigged, Robin. The whole thing's rigged.
I mean, listen, I don't think that a lot of guys are often extending like that. You know, sometimes you might see guys try to, push off or move their arms. But really, let's be real here. In reality, the problem is that a lot of guys are not really contesting shots at the rim. They're not really doing that at a high level. That's Victor Wembanyama. He's one of the very few guys in the league that actually contests shots at a high level, consistently on the defensive end.
That's why he doesn't get enough credit. Like, at least like I said, I think he knew the play was over, but hey, he jumped. I mean, he what else do you want him to do? My whole thing is that reaction from the announcers versus what Ja did to LeBron, a total 180. And again, it's narrative. You're showing what's impressive and what's not. Because how many dunks of the century have we seen from LeBron where it's just him running down to the paint and everybody, like AOH said, checking their phones, moving out the way, asking him for an autograph as he's jumping. You see the difference. You see the difference in difficulty. What Ja Morant did with LeBron was way more difficult than most of the dunks I've ever seen LeBron do.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, and you know what you showed in that first clip? What we noticed from LeBron James is once again a consistent pattern, from LeBron James, the sore loser, whiny baby mentality. So LeBron James is the kind of guy where he'll go to the basketball court, things won't be going his way, and he'll stop the game and take his basketball and go home. He'll just stop the game. Yo, give my ball, man. Yo, that's my ball. Got my name on it, man. Yeah, I'm going home. Yeah, that's my ball right there. And he'll take the ball, even though he knows that no one else brought a ball to the court. He'll end the game because he's losing. When you look what he did in that first video, once he noticed that John Morant had already gotten loose and the referee blew the whistle, he immediately went into crime mode, to complain mode.
Up.
So he completely stopped playing the game. And when, like you said, what did Victor Wembanyama do? Victor Wembanyama continued to play basketball after the whistle was blown. He jumped up and contested the shot. He didn't foul John Morant. He jumped up and put his arms out. What did LeBron James do when the whistle blew? He immediately stopped playing basketball like he had been and immediately ran to the referee.
Yep.
Hey, I have a bonus topic, and I watched Uncut Hoops talking about Giannis, and it came out right after we finished our last live. And what did I say during that? I was having trouble remembering who the third candidate for MVP was because they were basically only talking about Shea and Joker. And then you got people shitting on Giannis saying he hasn't developed. And yet what's interesting is, what does developed mean? Does that mean become a three-point shooter like everyone else? Because, Robin, you were praising Giannis at the beginning of the season for not resorting to being like everyone else. You have the abilities to dominate in the paint. That's where you should be. It's devolving when everyone just becomes like everyone else and stands at the three-point line and shoots. But I just wanted to point out that Uncut, like minutes after we had finished, had that video, interesting enough, talking about Giannis being disrespected. And Giannis actually has some really good numbers. He's actually developed some aspects of his game. Like, if anyone, yeah.
No, I think that Giannis is grossly devalued and based off his offensive prowess. And let's say his quote-unquote overall offensive game, the way in which he can create baskets for himself. I think he's devalued because people think that he has no quote-unquote skills. You remember James Harden some years back, laughing at Giannis, saying that, oh yeah, if all I had to do was dribble down and slam dunk the ball, then I could do X, Y, Z. Basically knocking Giannis as if Giannis only scored, as if he wasn't one of the elite defenders in the game, one of the great rebounders in the game, one of the great overall two-way players the game has ever seen. As than Giannis, man. James Harden's never sniffed leading a team to a championship the way that Giannis has done and proven he could do in his career. But if you think about overall offensive skills, to me, what Giannis does, He does at a high level. And when you talk about this era of NBA, the lack of physicality, the lack of emphasis on defense, how really great do you have to be overall offensively to be effective? What you should be doing is what you do great, you should be trying to do greater. When we talk about these guys in this era, the reason why we knock them is not necessarily because of the overall game that they don't have. It's because these guys are playing a game that they shouldn't be playing. They're out there chucking up threes and playing these weird offensive games. And you're like, wait, what are you doing, man? Why are you guys chucking up 10, 11, 12 games or threes a game when that's not necessarily your game or the way that you should be approaching the game of basketball? So for someone of these guys, man, to play their overall game, I think would be a much better thing.
Someone's playing a drinking game where you take shots every time a player traveled. That's nearly suicide. That's an unhealthy game.
Right. I mean, if you think about Giannis, for example, if they say he has no skills, and then you think about someone like Kevin Durant, for example, what do they say about Kevin Durant? They say Kevin Durant's the most skilled offensive player of all time. Oh, Kevin Durant. No one can score the ball like Kevin Durant. He's the most efficient scorer. He can do this. He can do that. We've heard Devin Booker call him the greatest scorer to ever live. That's what they've called him. That's what they say. But somehow, some way, Giannis, who plays in the same era as Kevin Durant, somehow has a higher career scoring high than Kevin Durant. Somehow that dude Giannis has scored over 60 points in an NBA game. But the ultimate all-around greatest scorer of all time has never cracked 60 points his NBA career. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Real quick, AOH, real quick. The other wild thing about Giannis is his story is the actual comeback story that you hear a lot of other players claim, how hard it was, I'm just a kid from Akron, blah, 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 and used in their narrative. Whereas Giannis, aside from, I think a Disney movie that came out, you almost never hear about how hard it was for him, because a lot of his greatness is because how hungry he is for success. And he's hungry for success because he came, from less. That shows, and that's why a lot of European players stand out now, because they quite frankly had to work harder to get here versus a lot of the US born players that are just kind of guided and catered to until they get to the league. So Giannis's story is that actual, I'm just a young kid from Greece that worked hard enough to get here, and it's almost never brought up, and he's an all-time player.
Robin, you said that you have something that you wanted to present or tell us about?
Yeah. Well, I'm not very, technically inclined out here, through this space. I don't have any clips or fancy things to have prepared for you guys, but we touched on a couple of points that I wanted to touch on a little bit further in more detail. And some of the things that I want to talk about that we don't really touch much on is the fitness and health component to a lot of these athletes that we see in the NBA, and just the lack of professionalism as it pertains to keeping themselves in greater physical shape and really taking that approach, to their careers. Because this is part of the problem that we have with these guys. These guys are not built like guys of the past. We'll say something like these guys are not playing 82 games, so they had to come up with a league minimum. So what I wanted to talk about is how, to me, a lot of these quote-unquote professional athletes don't really seem to spend the time in the off season or spend the time during the season to have themselves prepared for the NBA season, when we talk about what they're eating, what they're putting in their bodies, and how they're training their bodies when they're not playing basketball.
Super chat. Jolly Joshams. I take a shot every time they call traveling. Been sober for over a decade. Nice. That's one way to go into rehab. Hoop Scott, are you still with us? It was nice to watch the other night was seeing the Bucks beating the Lakers with two of LeBron's ex-teammates, Kuzma and Taurean Prince. Of course, prior to that, they weren't good. They were trash, but they're good enough to be getting starting minutes on another team. Just never-ending examples of this.
Well, Gabe Vincent one day is a 3-point sniper, and then the next day he's a liability. Somehow he changes.
Vincent was on the 2023 Miami Heat team that went to the NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets. Gabe Vincent, once again, when you look, see, like Airways just said, you see players go on other teams, or when players come and play with LeBron James, all of a sudden they're not the best versions of themselves.
You guys, what else we got? I think I have a shitload more to talk about. You guys want to take some callers though?
Sure.
Yeah, whatever you
Also, whoever started, again, I'm going to bring this up. The reason LeBron James has that beard is to hide the steroid boils under his chin. I think we should start a hashtag shave that beard to see how far we can take it, to see if he'll do it. I don't think he will, because he's had that big dumb beard for like the last 7 or 8 seasons.
Yeah. I
Start the hashtag shave that beard. No, that's fine. I'll do it.
I don't think I want to see it.
I'm curious. I'm definitely, because to me, it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's an interesting conspiracy theory.
So someone named Wardell who gave a super chat, and he said a few other things. He's a Curry fan. I did watch the Warriors, and I was having a hard time understanding how Curry didn't become the face of the league. I understand that he has flaws, but you put him up next to LeBron James in terms of your option for being the face of the league. How could you not have chosen Steph? And my girlfriend said that Steph should have been the face of the league. But I said, you know what? Steph should have been the face of the league, and it should have moved on from Steph by now. We should have already moved on. Steph should have had his time. He never got it because of the devotion to LeBron James. But we should have even moved on from Steph by now. Even if Steph continues to play well, we should still be embracing somebody else. ESPN, La Media, is not embracing anyone else. And then they turn around and act like, oh, it's the fans' fault. No, you're telling people what to think. And very few people seem to be able to resist the mind-numbing brainwashing that's happening.
You know what's interesting to me about Steph Curry? He always came across to me as being okay with being the behind-the-scenes guy, being behind LeBron James. He always seemed okay with that. It was almost like, he was confident with himself, his career, and his place in the NBA. And he wasn't really necessarily worried about being the quote-unquote face of the league. But you're around the money, LH. He definitely should have been the face of the league because of his overall game, his likability, and his relatability. Like I said, just the way that he was able to impact the game and the way that he's able to help his teammates and do these things. Like you said earlier, you talk about the beauty of watching the Golden State Warriors play the game of basketball. It reminded me almost of a Tim Duncan San Antonio Spurs because they weren't the flashiest team per se. Now, I'm not saying that the Warriors are not flashy, but people enjoyed watching the Spurs because they played great team, beautiful basketball. So that's why the Spurs were so popular, and people respected someone like a Tim Duncan so much because everyone was able to go to the San Antonio Spurs team. They could always move pieces around Tim Duncan, and it always worked because they played that team game.
Haas, I see you in the waiting room. I'll get to you in just a second. I just wanted to add.
Let me piggyback off that real quick.
Are you unaware that I was in the middle of talking, or can you not tell shit like that? You get your turn.
Oh, I'm on a delay. Are you talking right now?
Fucking bullshitter. You're fucking full of shit.
Let me get this line out real quick.
You're fucking real quick.
Real quick. Well, it could have been done if you weren't interrupted.
There. Now we're gonna get somewhere. There we go. I should have done that at the top of the hour. Might have been a good show. Oh, that's the way I like Speam, and the mouth moving and me no hearing. Hey, I wanted to add to what you said, Robin. Steph just kept his mouth shut when Durant came in and was able to get some rings, and they gave the glory to Durant. Yep. And then Durant left, did nothing, and Steph won again. Steph didn't have to talk. He didn't have to talk, but we have results. And he's still not talking. Now people are saying, oh, it's Jimmy Butler breathing life into the team. Steph still isn't showing butt hurtness or insecurity. We need someone who doesn't have to act insecure.
Exactly. And that's why the NBA, like you said, should have promoted someone like a Steph Curry because of all those things you just highlighted. And like I said, in Steph Curry's overall game, who's much more pleasing to the casual fan. If you're trying to bring in the casual fan, that's how you push the game forward. I mean, let's think about it. Let's be honest here. If someone doesn't know anything about basketball, right, and all of a sudden they're introduced to basketball because of someone like a Steph Curry, that helps push the game forward.
Haas, you're on. Welcome back.
Hey, salute, brothers. Good
What's
show.
Right, what up?
Hey, good show today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to expound on a little bit of a larger topic that impacts on recent events.
Get your finger down.
What's that?
Spain, get your finger down. You're unmuted, by the way.
By the way, Speem, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. I'm already subscribed to all you other brothers. Good stuff. And actually, this is relevant because you guys are really the only media we can trust anymore. The regular media has really dropped its pants, and it's sad because the castle, they surrendered the castle. The media has surrendered the castle. In the past, like 2 decades, 3 decades ago, the media really tried to be honest. They really tried to get it right. And actually, this is something I wanted to talk about, just modern culture and how it relates to fandom and how we see players. But it doesn't just extend to the players. It also extends to the media. And so if you think about how we look at the positive character traits of a man, you could see these in some movie some movie protagonists, whether it's Braveheart or Rocky or Gladiator. You have character traits like courage, bravery, honor, integrity, accountability, loyalty, competitiveness, objectivity, stoicism. That's the gold standard for what it means to be a man in the world. Okay. But you have a lot of these modern types, including the mentality. And by the way, Kobe and Michael Jordan, those two guys exuded those character traits to a maximum degree. And that's why we are drawn to them, because it's not just because of their play, which is, by the way, exceptional, and their on-court attributes were exceptional, but it's also their character traits. They were the perfect embodiment of what it means to be a man. Now we have in this modern generation, not just in the players, but in the media, you have all of the opposite type of characteristics. It's absolutely befuddling to me. You have characteristics like weak, jealous, insecure like a teenage high school girl, overly sensitive, whining, passive aggressive, complaining, disloyal, dramatic, avaricious.
Haas, I'll add to that. ESPN actually tried to praise LeBron's passive aggressiveness as a motivator.
Yeah. And so, by the way, thank you for that, because this is actually something that really I wanted to bring up, okay? If you look at a lot of the legends of the game in the past, what drove them to be great was all these positive characteristics. And what drives LeBron to be great, I'm convinced, is a deep insecurity. Like we're talking about, there's a deep insecurity. Like coming in the league and you haven't done a damn thing and tattooing the chosen one on your back. You know what the chosen one means? That means you're basically God. They refer to Jesus as the chosen one. That's saying that you have already eclipsed all the legends of the game at 18 years old. Then you come in, there was an unwritten rule, if you remember, nobody's allowed wearing 23. That's sort of like an unwritten rule. No player is going to kind of replicate that number. He has no shame. Goes ahead, takes the number 23. And then the icing on the cake that really pissed me off. And by the way, I was a LeBron James fan when he was in high school. Like, I liked watching the guy. I was rooting for the guy. I wanted to see what he brought to the table. I thought he might be a Kobe or Mike figure. Turns out he's the opposite of Kobe and Mike. But I was really rooting for the guy in high school. But then when I saw his true face and he revealed his true self, I was just disgusted by the man. But the icing on the cake to all that was when he sort of corrupted the powder toss. And Michael Jordan, by the way, he never ceremonialized his pregame routine. He just kind of did a little powder in front of the scoring table, get ready for the game, little chalk on the hands. And then LeBron comes in, does the thing that only Michael Jordan did. No other player did the powder game before the powder routine before the game. LeBron comes in, steals Michael Jordan's powder game, and then throws it up in the air like a jealous insecure teenage high school girl over dramatizing himself and attention whoring to the media. This was disgusting to me when I saw it the first time, and LeBron James has never actually matured into a man. He's still a teenage high school girl. And
Haas, stick with us. As usual, you're bringing great stuff. I'm going to have a couple of other callers. Haas is just in the background. You have great stuff, but you have a lot of it. I want the panel to have a chance to react to anything that's sticking out to them. Give some other callers a chance, and then maybe circle back. Appreciate you, Haas. You guys want to add on, or were you guys moved by any of that in particular?
Am I still muted?
Well,
can you hear me? Okay, good. No, you responded. Perfect. The insecurity piece is always going to be the biggest piece, because that's where this all stems from. And it's almost unwarranted, because when he came into the league, he was successful immediately, whether you assign that to his ability or the league catering to him. He was very successful in the beginning. And because he wasn't winning championships, that insecurity like grew in him. And that's when it started to be this whole thing of, well, what does the league need to do to get him a ring? So when he went to Miami, at that point, it was all about like the league storyline then became, how do we get LeBron to a ring? So no, I agree completely.
Robin, otherwise I'll take the next caller.
Well, I just briefly, the thing that stood out to me is when he talked about, after all these years, LeBron James has never learned. He hasn't learned these things. That's the problem for LeBron James. You know, when a lot of times people will say, oh, you know, LeBron James didn't have a father growing up. He didn't know his father. And like I said, guys, to me, that's huge. Like I said, I'm so, like I said, man, humbled. And like I said, man, it's just, you know, to have my father around, man, like I said, it's like I said, it's one of those things, man, I'm blessed, man, to have my father, man. So I wouldn't know what it would be to not have a father growing up. But when we talk about LeBron James being in the NBA for 22 seasons, and like I said, you haven't learned from the mistakes that you've made, or you haven't developed, you know, as far as your character, your personality goes. LeBron James is still crying in year 22. He's still flopping in year 22. He's still walking off court early in year 22. I mean, all the things that we're talking about as being a young idiot are things that you haven't learned all these years. So that was what really stood out to me.
Hey, Jim from Self Research. Some people have said that you should come on. I don't think you have your email posted on your channel. I know what your channel is, but I can't reach out to you. So you can reach out to me if you want to get welcomed on sometime. Let's we
got to get Jim on the panel, man.
Yeah, well, I can't do that if I can't get his email. Goatface Killa disappeared, so we'll go with Terrence is waiting in the background. Looks like Terrence got tired of waiting, or no?
What up, Terrence?
Yo, what up? I'm here.
There's Terrence.
Yo.
What up?
Yo, what up? I'm working. Hey, what up? I've been trying to get on with y'all for a minute.
Nice.
Yeah, I was talking about the whole little man. See, this is what would make me mad about LeBron James. It's always the same thing. It's like, even like when Carmelo played with him. When he played with Carmelo, everybody was rooting and cheering for Carmelo. He couldn't stand that. So what they got rid of Carmelo the next year, like without even saying anything. Like, he was playing pretty good too, and they was like, "No, we're just gonna move on from you," without nothing happening. And I just really couldn't stand that, because I was like, man, anybody score, like, that's the case, Bronny shouldn't be in the league. Like, and I was watching this podcast the other day. This dude, he be doing Laker games, and they was talking about AOH and the thing. Somebody else like, you know that guy AOH? He's always talking about LeBron James. I just unsubscribed to him, because I was like, yeah, I'm about tired of y'all. Like, a lot of people don't get to do the Lakers game, so I just watch it off there, because I be working all the time. And he was just like, ever since Bronny came in the league, like, he's just like talking about LeBron James really good, because he's trying to get viewers, and that's all it is. Everybody just wants the views. They don't care if it's a good player or bad player. It's just ridiculous out here, and like, sports is not the same.
Well, my channel is 6 years.
And that's really all I got to say.
Thank you, Terrence. Appreciate it. My channel is 6 years old, and it's pretty much always been the same. And I do this in my regular life too. I don't like lies being told, and I like to counter lies. Yeah. I research the lies and I expose the lies. And you know what? Maybe I'm madder at the people than I am at LeBron James for being stupid, mindless sheep. And that's a put down to the sheep,
Yeah.
because even sheep don't follow as blindly as LeBron fans do. So guess what?
Yeah.
If you want to think that I'm hating on you. I am a hater. I'm a fucking hater. LeBron James sucks. LeBron James ruined the game that I love, and everybody's followed in his footsteps. And you bitch ass LeBron fans now want to blame the people who are emulating LeBron's behavior for LeBron's behavior. LeBron's supposed to be the leader. In fact, he is. He's fucking 40 years old, and you're blaming people younger than LeBron James for LeBron James's behavior. This is how they think.
Hey, another thing. Hey, my bad. Hey, did y'all watch that Kobe documentary on HBO they just dropped?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's on HBO Max. It's really good. It start with Kobe Bryant daddy, and then it go when they went to Europe. It got all video of Kobe when he was in Europe, and then when he did the little rape case, and then it's only got 3 episodes right now. It's really good.
Oh, wow.
And like they was talking about Jordan and Kobe never faced no controversy with the media. Kobe, like you said, Kobe had a whole rape case. Like, what are you talking about? Michael Jordan had the gambling, and like LeBron James is like you say, anytime they bring up LeBron James, it's always, because me and my girl get into it all the time, and she's like, you just don't like that, man. I'm like, look, I just don't like that. When people say, oh man, LeBron James is the greatest player ever, the first thing they say is he's a good family man. He's never been in trouble. I'm like, that has nothing to do with basketball. Where's the basketball stuff there? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, it's crazy.
Well, what's even wilder about that is he's normalized applauding a contradiction. Because like you said, bringing Bronny in, everyone's like, oh, that's great. He's a great father, this, and this. But on the other hand, they'll say, well, he never cheated the game of basketball. He's cheating. You're cheating the game of basketball by bringing your son in. You're cheating him for the sake of his development, and you're cheating your team because you know he's not a legitimate roster spot. So you're a walking contradiction, but people applaud it.
Yo, shout out to Zay. I see Zay in the chat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shout out to Zay.
Hey, Zay, you don't need to apologize. You don't have to be on every Friday are Zay's shows. That's when his schedule works for him. And every now and then he can make Sunday. He doesn't have an obligation.
Yeah, don't even stress him, man. Like I said, he's doing his thing, man. So shout out to Zay and, man, all his supporters out there.
Funny dude.
Let's see. Goatface Killer says he got dropped.
You know what though, AOH, when you think about your name, I heard the guy say something about, another channel talking about your channel and, the LeBron James stuff, whatever. When I first came across your channel, I remember it vividly as being Angry Old Hoops. So, when we think about these things, you're a Hoops fan. That's what you are. This is about basketball. And why are you angry? You're angry because LeBron James is ruining the game like you love, like you just said. So it's not about the LeBron quote-unquote hate. What we're talking about is what LeBron James has done to the game that we love. When you listen to the frustration of the quote-unquote hoops fans out there, that's what it goes back to, man.
And let's be honest, those of you who get mad that I point out the truth don't want to hear the truth. So you hate on the truth. I mean, I had to be reminded of what basketball looks like by watching a college game. I have a reason to be mad. The NBA was destroyed. And why do I have to like somebody? I have every fucking right not to like somebody. If I hate LeBron James, then I hate LeBron James.
It's the entitlement era, AOH. If you don't, like you said, if you don't like him, it's your problem. It's on you.
I'll let Haas back in here. Hoops God is trying. Hoops God, are you back with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back.
Haas, let's have another one of your soliloquies.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I agree, Old Angry Hoops, that that the fans have a lot of blame in this, because all 6 of us, all 5 of us can understand and see through the bullshit, right? So why is it that most fans can't see through the fog? It's really not that hard to see through the bullshit. I think a lot of it is because the media is so dominated by corrupt money interests that there's no alternative message that's put out there by I'll call it the legacy media. And you know, a lot of the character traits that I was referring to, those all supersede money. Okay, in other words, you can't pay a man enough money to sort of abandon those character traits if he has them, right?
Mm.
For example, okay, you could not pay Michael Jordan enough money or give Michael Jordan enough praise to where Michael Jordan would pay Isaiah Thomas to say nice things about him. And by the way, Isaiah Thomas would never accept any money to just say nice things about Michael Jordan. But that's exactly what LeBron James and Draymond Green have done to each other. They have basically they've lost their manhood. They lost any sense of honor and dignity and respect by selling themselves out. LeBron paying Draymond to say nice things about him, and Draymond accepting the money to basically sell out and say, okay, I'm not gonna be a rival anymore, like the way they used to have the beefs and the rivals in the NBA. That's really pathetic. It's like human beings that operate like a PR firm. That's not masculine, manly behavior in the positive sense of the word. And let me just say one more thing. It's like if you were in high school, right? And someone, let's say you were the most popular guy in high school, which I was, by the way, and someone tried to, pay me to be their friend. Like, how would that come across if someone tried to pay you to be your friend in high school? Well, that's exactly how not just Draymond Green and LeBron have operated, but the entire media, the sports media has operated the same way. They care about money more than they care about these traits that are just historic and immortal. And so I'm really pissed off by the fans, by the media, by the players. Just the whole generation sucks. And it's not because I want it to suck. I wish we were still in that mentality that Kobe had, that Michael Jordan had, that the legend of the game had, Larry Bird had. But nobody is like that anymore, and it pisses me off. There's not one.
I hear you. It should piss you off. It should.
Yo, Haas be going in, man. Yo, for real. Shout out to my man Haas. I know me and him went back and forth some weeks back, with some of the things that we were talking about. But shout out to him for coming through, bringing the energy, man. As they're bringing the passion. And these are the things we're talking about. You hear the frustration in his voice when he talks about some of these characteristics, some of the traits that we allude to. When you bring up something like integrity, and then you talk about the game, and you bring up, the journalists, the broadcasters, and we talk about not pushing the game forward, and we talk about it being a business now. But once again, if the NBA product is great, if you're pushing the game forward, the money's gonna come, man. That's why I always say these guys are so wrapped up in the money and how much money they're making. If the product is great, if the game is being pushed forward, if you're a great player, you're gonna get the money. The money is there. Back in the day, those guys didn't know if they were going to get the money because the money wasn't there. You guys are going to get the money, man. Keep pushing the game forward, man. These guys are too wrapped up in the views and the money, man.
Shout out to Armando Ruiz. Oh, by the way, Haas, exactly what you said. The only thing that matters is money, and the fan base, the mindless fan base, turns around and says, hey, LeBron's a billionaire. You can't put him down. I mean, you guys are a self-fulfilling prophecy saying stupid shit like that. His fatherhood doesn't have anything to do with his basketball. Being a billionaire doesn't make him a good basketball player. But I like what Armando said. Let me read this before I get lost. Curry's a savage artist who paints masterpieces with every dagger. LBJ's a grunting, overblown, has been choking on the fumes of his own fading myth. And I've got a...
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, somebody, Armando Ruiz, man, a true supporter. He's been supporting my channel for a while, man.
Hey, listen. Somebody applaud that man. That's
a poet. That is a poet right there. Real quick off of Haas's point, I don't think there's one single player that you could identify as having a killer instinct right now. Not one.
Yeah.
It used to be Jimmy Butler, but then he got weird and started changing his hair and stuff. But they used to hate him in what was it with him and Cat? Remember, because he called Cat sensitive. He called Cat soft. Nobody wanted to play as hard as Jimmy did on every team he was in.
No, he done that to him and Wiggins. Like he pushed them, and they couldn't handle it because they were sensitive. Right. They were betas, So they had to get him out of there.
Yeah, I think he was the last example.
Zay, I sent you the link. He said he wanted to get on, or maybe not. But let's see what Goatface Killer has to say. What can I call you for short? For short, I don't want to call you Goatface. All right, Goatface Killer. Can't hear anything.
Can you hear now?
Yo, what up,
I'm
man?
talking. Can you hear me? Hey, yo, what's up? How
Oh, there
y'all
you
doing, man? Enjoy all y'all.
There you are.
What's up, big dog? I enjoy all y'all content. Y'all doing the Lord's work, man. First of all, I want to say this. This whole era is weak. We're not crazy. We're all looking at the same thing. They're playing an unfair game. Even when they talk about the debates, when they talk about the who is the greatest, and they only talk about it from one side. What if Penny Hardaway got the LeBron James treatment and got a chance to pick his team? What if Sean Kemp got a chance to get the LeBron James treatment? Can they achieve 4 rings? So the whole thing is a lie. Which is the other thing I want to address was when LeBron came and Stephen A. Smith, it wasn't about Bronny, it was about us. It was about the people who can see that LeBron James is not the GOAT and voice their opinion. That was his stance against us.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that.
That's a great point.
I never thought about it like that.
I mean, because what is it? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut nobody off, and I want to make sure my thing is playing. So I'm not trying to cut nobody off. I just want to get my because I've been I've been looking.
It's cutting out, but I think he said his bit pretty well. Go ahead, guys. Respond to Goatface Killer.
Well, he's cut off now that you kicked him out.
Oh, here he goes back. Goatface.
Yeah, I'm back.
GTK. GTK.
I'm here. GK. So y'all want me to go on or somebody responded?
So, yeah, you're so polite. We don't know what to do with ourselves. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh no, but what I'm saying is 52 million people have stopped watching the NBA. That is us. What people are trying to do, they're trying to cancel out. They're figuring out a reason to cancel out everything that makes sense. So they say things like, well, don't let Europeans play in the league. You have black men literally enforcing Jim Crow because you're getting paid by LeBron James. We all see this. You're not the greatest. You're not the most efficient. You're not the best at anything. You may be a athlete with the best media team. We can give you that. But everybody that we consider great has won 2 championships in a row. And the other thing is they like to say, oh, those guys are old, they're this, they're that. You still counting my money. If I go to the game and buy the ticket, my money still count. If I watch the game and you're talking about the amount of people that's watching the game, my viewership still counts. No one says, oh, they're 50 years old, so you can't count 20% of the ratings because these guys are over 50. These guys are over 40. So you can't turn around and say because the people who consume the product no longer. That's like if a restaurant shuts down and they blame the customers because the run itself has crappy service and crappy food. The customer only telling you we like the service. How you gonna mad at me because you have crappy service?
Thank you.
Word.
Thank you.
Cooking.
Exactly.
That was a great analogy, man.
Cooking.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
He's dead on with that Luka thing. The European thing, what's crazy is seeing how everybody switched their stance on that anti-European once Luka went to the Lakers. Gilbert Arenas, who was like the head of the anti-European thing, all of a sudden became a Luka fan the second he got to LA.
I got to tell you that when that made me uncomfortable the way that Gilbert said that. Like it
was racist. Period.
I was like, this guy really doesn't like white people.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is like he was saying, like now you have the players blaming the fans for the lack of popularity in the NBA? I mean, that's laughable for any of these guys like Kevin Durant and some of these other fools out here to blame the fans for the way that the league is being viewed. If you guys were out there and balling, if the All-Star game wasn't a joke, it wouldn't matter what we were saying because you would still have the videotape to back you guys up. But unfortunately, the videotape favors us. That's why AOH is called the czar of the video footage.
You see that it's a downward spiral. If you want to go the excuse route, then the whole world's just going to try and out excuse each other. Guess what? This is the greatest panel on the planet, the greatest podcast that exists. And if you don't think so, you're a hater. And if the views are down, it's because the fans fucked it up, not because the product is bad.
So this is my thing, right? Because I wanted to chime in on a couple things that
There's Zay, by the way.
Ghostface. Hey, what up, Zay?
What up, fellas? How y'all doing? Good morning.
Man, great. So when he mentioned
voice.
when he mentioned the thing about the penny and when he mentioned the Sean Kemp treatment, right? Now, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Shaq was on record of saying this as well. I want to say right after Golden State won the second title, he said, "Oh, if I knew it was cool to team up, well, I would have joined up with MJ." Now, can you imagine Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Shaq? We gonna see another Bill Russell in the 90s. We're gonna see another Celtics dynasty with the Bulls in the 90s, right? But I noticed another thing that he mentioned, right? Have you all now, I could be wrong, I don't know, but to my knowledge, I haven't seen Giannis, Nikola Jokic, Luka. I haven't seen any of those guys, SGA, complain about why are the fans being so tough on us and blah, 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 blah. I haven't heard any of those guys complain. If you have, let me know. But I'm noticing, okay, so Gil, you want to get all the foreign kids out of the league. Why? Because they're better than the United States players? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why would you say that? Because y'all tried to build up Ant-Man, he plummeted. Now, he played good last year, but he hit a whole 180. Y'all tried to build up Ja, he fell on his face. So who y'all gonna run to now? So you're upset because the foreign kids are putting out a better product than what the American kids are doing. So now you just want to ship them off. Really? Really?
Wouldn't you think Luka would be the face of the league? Wouldn't that make sense? I mean, or at least before he went to LA, just based on his playing ability, just on him being in a major market, Luka had no business not being the face of the league. But because he's still
in Jokic's shadow because Jokic has the MVPs and the rings. And
absolutely.
And I legitimately believe they're trying to push Luka, but it's like, the league can only push you so far. They can push you 40%. You got to do the other 60% on your own. So
yeah, there's no personalities in the league either, because unfortunately that does play, well, at least in the MVP conversation, it does play a part. There's no strong personalities in the league to even have that conversation.
What do you guys think? More callers? How's everybody's energy level?
Is this going to be
y'all
3 hour? I'm here
y'all
for
want me to chime in now? I go ahead.
Hey Zay, I watched your last video, bro. That joint was funny. He said, "Fanboys, I'm gonna tell you what y'all need: an EpiPen." He said, "Y'all gonna need."
Them boys need some Narcan, man. Y'all boys know y'all off them drugs. You gotta be off drugs if you think this dude is the GOAT.
I had to watch that twice, man. I was crying laughing.
Hey, so they need an EpiPen.
Fanboys, listen up. I heard the song. Did y'all hear the song? Tell me you heard.
Bro, that is the weirdest song. You know what? Hey, I got a counter to that because every time I post something, I got this troll. He always posts it in my link talking about DJ play that song, but somebody had an AI edit with LeBron and Diddy with the orange suits on. So that's my response to him every time he posted, like, stop playing with me.
Fanboys. Typically when men go in the studio, they making the R&B song. You thinking about a woman. You thinking about your mama. You know what I'm saying? You might think about somebody that passed away. These fanboys are thinking about LeBron James. They made a love song to LaFody James. Fanboys, you know you're not off the hook, right? You know I'm finna get into you. No Diddy. Fanboys, you should be disgusted. This is not normal behavior. This is unorthodox behavior. What is going on?
I was raised that thou shalt not idle another man. If you put your socks on the same way as me, I'm sorry, I can't put you on no pedestal like that. Like that's just weird behavior.
It's cult-like behavior. It's like you're in a cult. You're drinking that Kool-Aid.
Fanboys, he went into falsetto for LaForty James. That is not okay. That is unorthodox.
Hey, Zay, you better copyright that LaForty, man. You better copyright that.
LaForty James, man. Stop it. Now y'all go ahead. I'll just follow y'all.
I haven't heard it. I'm asking myself if I want to.
Man, I'm not listening to that. But like every time they do, like I listened to like 5 seconds. I was like, what the man? Get this off my damn page, man. What type of weirdo type of bullshit is this?
Oh, shout out to I Am the Algorithm.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's absolutely fatherless behavior. Like, yeah, when you didn't grow up with, and it's like if you didn't have that grandfather, you know, of course, you know, you're the father figure, just some type of masculine energy. Like, this is weird, man.
Speaking of lack of masculine energy, that the video of Richard Jefferson getting danced on by LeBron, which is difficult for me to watch. That behavior alone, for you not to push him off of you or dislodge him in any way, let that keep happening, is disgusting. Period. Especially in front of thousands of people.
Hey, I see that Tyson fanboy in there. He says they didn't have that energy when I was up there. Look, it was all 4 or 5 of us on the stream, man. I'm not gonna compete to you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna cut everybody off just to say what I want to say. You know what I mean?
Tell him to come up now.
Be thankful I spared you, fanboy. Be thankful.
Robin, did you leave in intentionally? Because I don't see him. I don't see him trying to get back in. We gotta bring fanboys on without Robin to cook him again. All right, we got D Davis. D Davis.
Hey, what's going on?
Are you a fanboy?
What up?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No fanboy on this side.
I was scared for a second. The way he said that, I was scared for a second.
Thank you, sir.
No. I wanted to shout out to everybody. Great content as usual. I was looking for sports and fitness rants because he said something that resonated with me a couple I think last week. He was talking about the minutes that LeBron played. He was comparing it to like Moses Malone and Karl Malone and guys in the past. And he was like, you lost your damn mind if you think that's the same minutes. Lost your damn mind. And that resonated with me just because I'm 41 and played basketball all my life. And, you know, running it up and down the court, guarding guys bigger than you, fighting against picks, going against screens and all that, going against the game. And you turn on the game right now, it's hard to respect. And the way that the glazing that we see on ESPN and everything, and the fanboys and everything, is all this cheering and all this admiration for nothing. Nothing. The defense is lacking. The heart just ain't there. And it's so easy to see for people that got eyes and people that got vision and people that just know the damn game. So I just want to say that. God damn.
D Davis, good stuff. We appreciate you calling in. King Speech Row, I accidentally removed you. If you want to call back in, or I didn't.
King Speech.
And Robin, did you leave us intentionally? I'm looking for you in the waiting room. Sports and fitness rants.
Are there other people in the back?
There's King Speech. Sorry,
hey, what's going on, guys?
King Speech, what up?
What up, King Speech?
Yeah, just chilling, man. Just chilling. Just wanted to salute you guys. Good show as always. You know, I make sure I'm tuned in on Sundays and noon. I just wanted to, I made the thing about LeBron at Bryce's game earlier. And the way he was jumping around like House of Pain, he didn't look like he had a groin. He was jumping all over the place, making it
That
about
was good.
himself as usual. Making it about himself as usual. So, he left the Lakers high and dry on his six game and 8.
Was he jumping around? It's
I
bad
believe
enough.
it.
It's bad
I
enough.
I
when he was
believe
there.
it.
Jumping around, flexing.
I believe it.
All right.
Oh, you can see it. It's very
Hey,
animated.
which one of y'all don't pay child support, man? Somebody talking about child support in the comments.
Well, your buddy Tyson's here.
Nice.
Oh, there you
Oh, let me
go.
go on mute.
I got to finish my
Oh,
conversation with Tyson from last week.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
What up, Tyson?
Doing great. I'm going back
is
on
this
mute.
Tyson the fanboy?
This is the same Tyson last week. We had Tyson.
I don't get mad by the name calling, man. Y'all can have it. But anyway, you know what I mean? I ain't come up here throwing no ad hominems out, but y'all got it. What's going on?
What's
Tyson,
going on, man?
what up?
It's
Oh,
all
good,
love,
man.
bro. Like
Good.
at the end of
Good,
the day,
good.
gotta understand that I ain't on that, but it's all love.
Yeah. I just think y'all ire, a lot of y'all ire to me is pointed in the wrong direction. Y'all really need to be looking at David Stern. The game is different now. I agree 100%. If you don't like it, that's cool because the game is different. The game changes from era to era to era. But David Stern ushered in all this change that y'all don't like. LeBron played in the era where it was tougher, where it was hard to score, and he dominated. You know what I'm saying? He was
Did he
dominating
win
then.
though? Did he win
Huh?
in that era? Did he win a championship in
Time
that era?
out. Time out.
No. We didn't expect him to win with that team he rolled out there. Did you?
Fuck me.
D Wade won.
Huh? Dwayne
D
went with
Wade
Shaq
won.
and all. What are we talking about?
How
Hey,
many points did Shaq? Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say
How
let
many
Tyson
points?
get his point out. I
You
guess.
Yeah,
talking
because
about D
I
Wade
gotta come
won?
back
D
to
Wade
that.
lost the grip too, and then he got Shaq and they won.
I'm gonna come back to that point, so I want you to finish because
Yeah,
I
come
need to
on
know what
now.
Shaq did in the finals.
Go ahead,
What?
finish.
Okay, right. Okay, now we talking about what Shaq did in the finals. Blah blah blah.
I,
D Wade had a great finals run. I agree. Salute D Wade for that finals run. Nobody's taking that away from him. He balled out. But you just gonna ignore it. You gonna say he had the same team that LeBron had, the same type of team? Come on now, stop it. Anyway, my point was to say that David Stern
see,
is the one that took away the hand checking. David Stern is the one that brung in the zone defense. David Stern is the one that moved in the 3-point line, then moved it back. All trying to get these and he was the one that was big on the Euro movement. He was the one that started that Euro movement. And the game has changed because of these rule changes that we see that ushered in the big change in the NBA. We get into the 2000s where players can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? They don't have 3-point shots. It's not they're not taking advantage of the zone defense. How do you beat zone defense? 3-point shooting.
how often do they play zone?
How often do they play zone? They play zone quite a bit. As far as
No, they don't.
not just like
No, they
a
don't.
not
No,
your
they don't.
typical two. Hold on, brother. Let me finish.
Tyson, Tyson, I'm telling you, I've already
Not your.
researched this. Tyson, they play zone 4% of the time. You got to come with
I
something better
said
than that.
not your typical 2-3 zone. It's more of a matchup zone. They load up on the strong side of the ball. The player at it's facts. Watch the game, bro. Come on, don't do this. No, they don't play a
I'm already
2-3.
telling you,
It's
they don't
They
play
don't play
zone that
zone like
much.
that.
it's a matchup
I
zone.
know where that narrative is coming from. That is not true.
They
That
don't
has
play
no
matchup
factual
zone.
basis whatsoever. So, sir, they don't even play zone to the degree that you're trying to say they are. Okay, you can guard a player, right? You can give him coverage, like drop coverage. That's not a zone. You're just not honoring his shooting ability. That's where you're
I'm not
misconstruing it
talking
to.
about
No, a
drop
zone.
coverage.
Hold on. I'm breaking this down. A zone is where you're not guarding anybody on the perimeter. Like you're literally right there at the elbow. Who's playing like that today?
If you watch the games, brother, when a dominant scorer has the ball, like a LeBron James, like a whoever you guys talk about as these ISO scorers, Luka Doncic. That's why he's able to hit people in the corner so much, is because that help man is already a foot, damn near a foot in the paint.
Tyson, I just have one question.
Why is he able to wait? Why is he able to hit that man?
Because the defense is collapsing, so that he can pass it out to.
So do you do
Are they?
wait? So do you wait? Do you consider that a zone when you're collapsing the paint
I'm
to stop
talking
somebody
about
from driving.
when you do it and you step away from that man and you're not guarding that man where he can get the pass and shoot a three. That's called a matchup zone. You collapsing the defense.
That
You
is
don't have
not a
to stay.
zone.
You
You're
don't.
protecting the paint. That is not a matchup zone.
I'm
Where are
talking
you
about.
getting
He
this
So
has
you
the
from?
call
ball
a
at the
help
three.
defense a zone?
If you do it before he steps into the paint, yes, they're preloading a strong side of the ball. Yes.
That is not a matchup zone. You're literally collapsing the paint to protect
Uh,
somebody from
So when
scoring. It's
LeBron,
not a
so
zone.
when LeBron James has the ball at the 3-point line, you saying, and he's facing up on somebody, you're saying, oh, I got a phone call. Hold on. You're saying that a guy preloading the zone is not his own defense. It's preloading when a guy is preloading the
Off
help,
of
that's
him
not his own
driving,
defense.
is he driving? Is he driving in the
Not
lane or
yet.
is he standing
No,
out on the top of the key?
he's at the top of the key.
Okay, so if he drives in, you're allowed to collapse the
I
paint. That's
said
not a zone.
before.
You're
I literally
protecting the
said
paint.
before he drives.
If he's at the top of the key, I need to know this. What purpose does it serve for you to overload on him when he's not even completing the action yet?
Because
He hasn't even initiated the
he's
action. So why
fast,
would you do
because
that?
he's strong and he's fast, and you get in there before before.
Show me an example. Show me an
Hey, don't
example
you
where
guys
that
think you're
happened.
kind
I
of
do it
don't?
all the
I feel like
time.
we're
This
getting lost in
happens
the
all the
weeds here a
time.
little
Like, what
bit.
are you talking about?
Hey, Tyson.
I've
Hey, it's
never
my
seen
turn.
it. I've never seen
We're
where
getting lost in
LeBron is
the
at the top of
weeds.
the key and somebody's
Getting
preloading.
lost in the
I
weeds
ain't
just
never
a little
seen it.
bit.
Hey, Tyson, did you watch my video where I compared when Jordan got swept and LeBron got swept for the first time?
No.
Okay. Well, there's some interesting information in there for you if you have a chance to.
No, what was the information?
These people that come on and talk about not watching the games and don't even know what the zone is. And LeBron doesn't face up with anybody when he's on the perimeter, by the way, because nobody fucking guards him on the perimeter because he can't shoot. The Cavs, a few people wrote in, stop shitting on those Cavs teams. Uncut said it, a few other people did. They were the number one seeds, and it wasn't because LeBron was carrying them all season. Guess what? Why did LeBron's numbers go down in the playoffs? Why does LeBron's averages go down in the playoffs?
Because they know how to key in on it.
If he was the man, and if he indeed was the reason that the Cavs made it as far as they did, which I've proven with visual and statistical evidence was untrue, then he needs to be the man and do it through the playoffs. But those teams were not shit. It's a narrative that was fed to you, and you said, give me whatever. I don't even have to look. Just give me the blind bag of shit taste test, and I'll eat whatever you tell me to.
Hey,
that's what frustrates me. They come up here talking about, you can't play against a zone. And I'm like, bro, they play zone 4% of the time. Stop with this nonsense.
But either way, when you weigh that against even just the free throw discrepancy, if you want to talk about how the game is played, how the refs treat a LeBron-led team, the free throws, the lack of calls, to me, yeah, the game's changed, but that further illustrates it's changed almost directly in his favor. Those foul calls, those free throw discrepancies outweigh the lack of defense almost by 100%. I feel like
I can't believe it was blaming David Stern. Okay, and by the way, let's keep in mind that there was a period of time that LeBron was in the league that it wasn't that bad. Things didn't just change overnight, and then there was a period of time where. Here's my hypothesis. LeBron showed the world that he wasn't the man, and the league had to change in order to accommodate that because things were a little bit tough. They didn't just start allowing everybody to travel constantly. They didn't just start stop playing defense entirely. This happened a little bit later. It wasn't just when LeBron came into the league, and it wasn't immediately when David Stern left and Adam Silver came in, but things have gotten progressively worse. Where we are in 2025 is not where we were in 2003. You're not going to blame this on David Stern.
Yep. The numbers don't lie. Look at the last 11 years of the NBA.
King Speech Row has something to add to that. King speech, and he's gone.
Good talk. Good talk.
Well, Zay, I don't want you to ever apologize because you're not obligated to the Sundays, so don't worry about that. I know what your schedule. I know you have a crazy schedule, but people can tune in on Fridays. I guess Robin had to go. He hasn't tried to call back in, but there's King's speech one more time, and then I think I'm going to wrap this up.
Yeah, I got to be real fast because Restream don't like Androids. But the LeBron fans, they don't know what they swear the zone is being played all the time, and they don't even know what zone is. Also, Hoops about the Cavs team, facts. They were fake. What LeBron fans want to tell you is LeBron didn't have a Scottie Pippen, therefore the teams were trash. Not telling you that he had about 6, 7 other good players on those teams. It's ridiculous, those narratives they keep running. I know the Restream about to kick me off, but that's what I wanted to get in. They talk about zone, but can't even define what a zone is. Like, zone defense is not played today, and it's proven.
Thank you.
But how are all these other teams winning with this alleged zone, right? How the Pistons win with the zone? How did the Miami Heat win with the zone? How did the Boston Celtics win with the zone? Everybody else can win with the zone, but he can't. Okay.
It's true. Everybody acts like these things only happen to LeBron James. There's all the other teams are in the league.
I've never seen another player carried out because they had cramps. Ever.
Right.
Ever.
And
not
then-
once.
Hey,
So
Sting, that's
that
bullying.
heating situation targets
sorry, my
LeBron
bad.
That's
James.
bullying. That's called
The
bullying.
Heat. That's what they said. They said it was the what was
No,
it?
Tyson, you're the
they said it
only
was
one that
too
don't
hot.
know ball, and you keep
It
confirming
was
that
too
you don't know
hot.
ball.
Too hot in there. He had to be carried out. Later on down the line, at least Paul Pierce admitted he shitted himself, and that's why they had to put him in a wheelchair. LeBron needs to come out and tell the truth.
Damn. Damn.
I mean, he did. He said he had to shit. That he wasn't really hurt.
I
He said
remember
it.
him saying that. Yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
him saying that.
Excuse my language.
His face was crazy. How his face was looking. He looked so hurt, man, but he just shitted on himself. That's crazy.
They should draw little chalk outlines for every time LeBron flops and just lays there. They should just so you can remember where it took place. That's the most embarrassing thing. Is it's such a consistent thing that you expect it, and what's worse is his teammates walk up to him and act like they're doing some kind of life-saving procedure, but meanwhile he's just are you okay? Are you okay? He's just laying there, and nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Well, Pappy, for one, with the super chat, is sympathetic with LeBron. A hyperextended labia is a devil injury. Thoughts and prayers. As Chuck would say, I hope he survives. Hope he survives.
I love how they keep saying he's hurt, but y'all see him running up and down the court at Bryce's game.
Did he really run up and down the court? Holy!
Y'all see
I
him
mean,
jumping up and
I
down.
mean, with a groin, you should be sitting down like 60% of the time.
Didn't they just say, oh, LeBron couldn't make it to Milwaukee because of the flight, elevation could, potentially slow down his recovery and blah, blah, blah.
He's supposed to be in
Fanboys, he's
his
at
bed.
his son's game.
He's supposed to be
an
in his
Iron Man.
bed at home because
He's Iron
will
Man.
help him recover.
He's unstoppable. I thought you guys knew that.
He's an Iron Man.
Fanboys, look, Cookie James is full of shit.
But that goes back to that contradiction. How can you say in the same sentence he's an Iron Man and he spends 2/3 of the game on the floor and you're showing highlights of it? You're zooming in on him on the floor with his elbow over his face, and then 2 seconds later you're saying he's an Iron Man. What are we doing? Like that's why people get frustrated.
It's very frustrating, man. I just don't see how you guys cannot see that this guy is a liar. He's fake. He's all of these things, man. He traded D Wade. He traded his best friend without his knowledge. Okay, let's not even talk basketball. Let's talk character, fanboys. Do you align with this type of character?
Shouldn't the face of the league be distancing himself from Draymond Green, not being besties with Draymond Green?
I mean, yeah, anytime a dude call me the B word, like, we finna swing. Like, I'm not trying to be your friend.
He just purchases his enemies. like I said, Jackson Hayes was one of the only people that's ever pushed him other than Kuzma.
LeBron intentionally put his groin on Draymond Green's head, got Draymond Green kicked out of the game, and now they're best friends and business partners. That is astonishing to me.
Yeah, because Draymond, how can you be friends with somebody that cost you a championship?
Or put their body on you like that?
Hey Zay, but think about it. Why do you think they hate Kyrie so much? Because, like you said, I got to start calling him LaFauty. He normally he's the one who either trades you or he abandons you. Right? They cannot stomach the fact that Kyrie Irving had the unmitigated gall, the temerity, the audacity to leave the king. No, you stay here and let the king leave you. That's what they wanted to happen right now. Kyrie said, "Nah, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm good. Let me get up out of here."
You said first,
they cannot stand that man.
He believes
first I'm finna save your king.
To get out of there.
You said first I'm gonna save your king, then I'm finna leave your king high and dry like he leaves everybody else.
Hey, you guys, I put up the link to the 2007 finals. LeBron James had more turnovers than made buckets. I mean, throughout the series.
AOH. He was being guarded by a 35-year-old man, but they want to tell us he was being guarded by. I said, so Bruce Bowen is 5 players now? Because I specifically remember Bruce Bowen like hounding him everywhere and then daring him to shoot. Like, is that what we doing?
Morris fits in. Birds of a feather flock together. Morris can hang out with Draymond and LeBron. A bunch of fucking bitches.
Is he the one that got pushed over?
Markieff Morris is going to get a whole video, an entire career of being a bitch from me. I mean, that guy consistently. I mean, Zay, you had it in your video. I already mentioned it last week, but him standing up to go help LeBron James against 60-year-old 6'1" Stephen A. Smith. That's craziness.
Wait a minute.
Was that the Morris chin that got pushed over by Jokic and acted like he got
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember when Joakim Noah called LeBron he called him the P word. Yeah. I noticed LeBron didn't try to run up on Noah, right? Then Ime Udoka, if y'all go back and watch that interaction, now correct me if I'm wrong. LeBron was walking back and forth because the ref was like in between them. So he pacing, but he can't sit still. Ime Udoka is standing his ground. He ain't flinching. He ain't moving. Say, you soft ass boy, quit acting like a bitch. I'm like, wait a minute. So he don't want no smoke with these two dudes, but you'll go over here and try to check a 60-year-old man?
Oh, no. He ain't want no smoke with David West either. Y'all remember with David West, man? Come on.
Wow.
He ain't want no smoke. I remember Gil told a story about how LeBron wasn't driving to the rim when Brandon Hayward was in the game. Fam, like, come
for
on,
the Mavericks?
Nah, for when he was playing on the Wizards.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Come on. Anytime there's a real center in the paint, LaFauty is out of there. He's not in the paint, man.
Hey, wait.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you guys realize in his entire career, for as much as he goes into the paint and pushes people out of the way, I can't remember a single scuffle he was involved in. Because the first one that comes to mind is Isaiah Stewart, right? And he wanted nothing to do with that. I don't remember him ever being in a pushing match, a shoving match, a scrap, anything. Not once in his career. I feel like that tells you a lot.
No, Speen. When they played the Wizards, this is back, like in the early 2000s, right? I want to say it was in the playoff series. He drove the lane because him and Deshaun Stevenson had this little ongoing beef before the Dallas Mavericks. When I tell you Deshaun Stevenson slapped that man so hard, his headband went that way, LeBron went this way. And that was the only time that he had like a slight little scuffle, but he wasn't trying to, he had it like no static with Deshaun Stevenson. He was over there crying to the refs. Then I was like, because they try to talk about Kobe with what's his name, Chris Childs, but I'm like, wait a minute, LeBron got his headband smacked off his head. He didn't throw no hands. So what are y'all talking about? Like
he cried to Jay-Z. He cried to Jay-Z.
Yeah,
Jay-Z wrote a whole diss instead of LeBron doing something about it.
Exactly. Jay-Z had to write a diss for him.
Like that's where we are. You had to go get Jay-Z to handle your bully and make fun of him, but you couldn't do anything.
Anyone have a problem with Steph Curry having to step up to Isaiah Stewart and Draymond being nowhere to be found?
Man, I would have traded Draymond a long time ago.
Why was Draymond Green not a tough guy in that situation? Where was he?
Yeah, he pick and choose his battles.
Apparently,
he definitely do. He definitely pick and choose.
It's not Cat or Rudy Gobert. If it's not Cat or Rudy Gobert, he wants nothing to do.
Rudy Gobert had already given up by the time that he got headlocked. I mean, seriously, Draymond came in and headlocked the guy that was already like stopping the fight.
Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah Stewart's like a level 2, like mixed martial artist. So now Draymond know better. He don't. That's one problem he definitely don't want.
Oh yeah, he would never do that to Isaiah Stewart. One thing is crazy. I'm not letting no man put me in the headlock and drag me for 40 yards, man.
That's
doing
exactly
a 40-yard
dash. You got to kill me at that point because if
On
I'm not a tough guy or anything, but if I get up, I can't live with myself unless I try to put you down. Like for the rest of my life, I'll never feel like a man. Also, Steph stepping to eyes, like it was just them two, and it was Steph by himself in front of that whole bench. That's man stuff to me, right? That's like he had no backup, no anything. But you got LeBron, hiding behind. When he fights, it's like that scene in Endgame when all the Avengers show up. There's like 40,000 people behind him, and they're all ready to fight for him.
Hey, Jolly Joshins says Braun the type of guy to make a woman flinch and try to brag about it to grown men. I mean, I really think that was. I almost think that was the worst part when he went to other guys and tried to get those guys to acknowledge what he just did. I mean, trying to make a woman flinch was bad enough, and then wanting other guys to praise you for it. So fucking weird.
Shout out to
Certified.
He's the one who talked about character. That like how can you look up to somebody whose character is like that consistently, by the way.
Certified bozo.
Well, it's that deep set insecurity that I think Haas was talking about. I mean, that is seriously the type of shit that you did in junior high in order to try and gain popularity with somebody. You go and pick on, like, let's say that you get picked on and then you try to gain favor with the other bullies and assholes by going and picking on someone, and you run over to them and say, hey, did you see what I did? Hey guys, did you see me pick on that woman? Praise me for picking on the woman. Who does that as a 6'9", 40-year-old man?
Well, Jackson Hayes does that, to be fair.
Oh, well.
So maybe it's a Laker thing.
I certainly never said that Jackson Hayes is the standard to be measured by.
As a fan, he is.
Oh, yeah. Gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Enjoy, man.
Yeah, fanboys. I hope you have a miserable day.
Oh, let's get some. Yeah. Amen.
I hope that you wipe yourselves off this morning because I know you're still greasy from last night. Thanks for tuning in. I will be here on Friday early, bright and early. So I appreciate y'all for having me on again.
Hey, real quick predictions. What's going to happen with the Suns and the Lakers today? And by the way, is Luka back?
I haven't even checked yet. Let's see. Matter of fact, is he
with or without Luka? What are you guys' predictions?
I mean, the Suns are 2 games behind the Mavs, and the Mavs have 7 players, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Well, that sounds to me like a great game for LeBron to return for.
You got 3 players making like $600 million, and you're 2 games behind the Mavericks with no players. The Lakers should win this game. They should. If Luka's playing, I'm taking the Lakers. I don't believe in the Suns. KD, it just doesn't make sense why they're under 500 damn near.
Luka is expected to play. Luka, he is expected to play.
Oh, Luka is expected to play.
He's expected to play. He has a calf injury, but he's expected to play.
Well, all right, guys. I appreciate you. Enjoy the game if you watch it, or go watch college basketball and really enjoy. supporters,
Yes, indeed.
everybody.